Indeed.com.
The Gathering's an enigma, wrapped in a puzzle, and placed behind your sofa.
What?
He means the Gathering console table from Penny Mustard. It sits behind your sofa, providing a snack bar for parties, a buffet for pizza night, and extra seating for the holidays.
How can it be all those things?
It's mysterious.
The Gathering console table starting at just $67 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest until October of 2025 through October 15th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Jason Rose is the president CEO of AccuRite Tax and Financial Services. They have document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
I think it's very accurate to call it a partnership because it's more of a relationship that you build up over time.
And your practice has had document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems for years.
Yep, they know what you need, they know how to help, they're able to provide suggestions on future improvements or changes.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company. Here for you today, helping you plan for the future.
It's a great deal. James Imaging is the real deal.
And Jason, the bottom line for your practice?
Keep us up and running, especially during tax season.
Keep your business up and running with document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:02, it's 54 degrees. Moderate to heavy rain across the region. A high of 55 today. Gusty winds as well, up to 35 miles an hour. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. As Israel warns more than 1 million residents in Gaza to evacuate today, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin visiting Israel in a show of support. CBS's Linda Gradstein reports from Jerusalem.
Secretary Austin said that Hamas reminds him of another terrorist organization.
The deliberate cruelty of Hamas vividly reminds me of ISIS. Bloodthirsty, fanatical, and hateful.
The visit came as Israel warned more than 1 million Palestinians in Gaza to leave the area. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant.
Those who want to save their life, please go south. We are going to destroy Hamas infrastructures.
An estimated 300,000 Palestinians have already fled their homes in Gaza. Linda Gradstein for CBS News, Jerusalem.
Stateside, President Biden expected this morning to speak on a phone with the families of Americans missing in the violence. Also, police forces across the nation preparing for what has been called a day of rage happening around the world. And a new agreement reached prior to the State Assembly taking up the Brewer Stadium funding package would decrease local contributions in the plan by $67 million.
The bill will not, however, bring any changes to the Stadium District Board, representation on which had been a concern for Mayor Cavalier Johnson and County Executive David Crowley. The bill's author, Representative Rob Brooks, tells WTMJ that could still be brought up.
That could come up in the Senate and that could change, along with the non-brewer ticket tax could change.
Brooks says it's been a team effort from Democrats, Republicans, the governor, and local leaders to arrive at a solution.
Everybody had a common goal to keep the brewers, and we all wanted to do it without affecting services in the state or put in jeopardy any tax reductions or anything else, and we were able to do that.
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
A vote in the Assembly is scheduled for next Tuesday. News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. All green right now. The Dow Jones up 216 points to 33,847. The S&P 500's up 17 to 4,366. And the NASDAQ just a little bit of a modest gain, up 2 points to 13,576. Annex Ignite, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client. They'll meet you where you're at. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:05.
Seth, the next ad should be about furnace beyondifications.
No, it's got to be same-day repair 7 days a week.
A beyondification extends the life of your furnace.
Yes, of course.
And increases efficiency.
Which saves you money on energy bills. I get it.
I don't think you do.
But same-day repair helps people now whose systems are breaking down.
Beyondifications save people from having a breakdown in the first place. What are you going to tell me? Oh, sorry, Merle.
You're right.
We shouldn't be arguing. I was saying people should get a furnace beyondification. Right, saves you money.
I thought same-day repair 7 days a week was better. Saves you time and frustration.
You're exactly right, Merle. You're a genius.
You're a great squirrel.
Get same-day repair or a furnace beyondification today.
Save money.
Save time and frustration.
Online at callcapitalcares.com.
For over 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m., the tradition continues during Blaine's Toyland opening weekend. Like half off select Lego playsets, just $4.99. Select Barbie playsets, only $19.99. And rewards members get 4 Hot Wheels die-cast vehicles for just $3. Plus, rewards members get a free $5 gift card with every $50 Toyland purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland, where wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Week 6 of the NFL season got underway last night with the Kansas City Chiefs improving to 5-1 with the 19-8 win over the Denver Broncos. Over to baseball, where the Philadelphia Phillies are sending the Atlanta Braves home with the 3-1 series win. The Phillies winning Game 4 by a final of 3-1. They will face off with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLCS. And lastly, over to college football, where the Wisconsin Badgers will be hosting Iowa tomorrow afternoon in a battle for the Heartland Trophy. That kickoff scheduled for 3 p.m. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic pretty good right now. Just a minor tapping of the brakes on 43 North from about Center Street up to Keefe, adding maybe a couple of extra minutes on your ride from the Marquette towards Brown Deer Road and out of the city. Rest of the system looking okay, but rain continuing to fall, making slick roads. Pack your patience, everyone.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Help fellow commuters. See an accident? Call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Mazda to support their Drive Out Cancer event.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Heavy rain throughout the day. Windy as well. Gusts over 30 miles per hour. A high of just 55 degrees expected. Not dropping too much overnight tonight, as well as that rain continues. A low of just 52. The wind will be here to stay for at least the next couple of days. Saturday windy, a high of 55 with some rain showers possible. Lakeside showers then possible Sunday, maybe even into early Monday morning. Continued breezy, highs in the mid-50s. Partly sunny. We finally see the sky again Tuesday with a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 52. In Green Bay, 48. Waukesha's at 49. And in Milwaukee, rainy conditions and 54 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Times 909.
Good morning, Wisconsin. It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
And happy Friday, everybody. A wet Friday here in Wisconsin. Hopefully it's nice in other places around this great country. I know you're tuning in from all over the place. Sandy is on her listener trip in England, so we'll hear all about that at some points. But joining us on the phone line is Bill McCoshen. Hi, Bill.
Hey, how are you? Good morning.
Good, and always in studio, Joseph Peck. Have you done a phoner?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
Yeah, I did.
Remember when it snowed like 4 flakes?
Oh, that's right. That's a good story because Bill comes all the way, drives all the way in from western Wisconsin, and Joe can't make it in from Milwaukee. I remember that, Bill.
Here I was trying to be nice and wasn't going to give McCoshen a hard time for being afraid of a few raindrops.
Bill's got a busy schedule on a Friday. He does. All right.
Yeah, today.
Gentlemen, let's. We're joking around, but I'm going to start with a serious conversation. That is the attack on Israel last Saturday, and I've spent so much time this week, Bill and Joe, and we'll start with you, Joe, just trying to reconcile it in my head because I've been very critical of people who are afraid to use the word terrorist. I've been very critical of protesters who forget about the slaughter of innocent civilians and want to focus on and I get it, the history of the Middle East, the continual struggle for two-state solution, living peacefully side by side with groups that frankly don't like each other. Just give me, I'll have each of you give me an overview of where you're at on this story.
This is the most complicated, complex, and nuanced region in the world. And despite that, this is pretty straightforward from this regard. The Hamas terrorists who committed these atrocities should be pursued to the ends of the earth, to the gates of hell, if that is what it takes. You cannot allow these monsters to walk the face of the earth. The Hamas terrorists who slaughtered women and children and paraded hostages through the streets, there is no moral equivalence, period. And this is a more complex and complicated issue than that. And what has been so disheartening to me is how unprepared for that so many of our politicians seem. A few on the left and way the hell too many on the right. To have this American-centric view of the world that and presume that this is a straightforward or simple or easy thing, and that either American Democrats or American Republicans had anything to do with this, whether it is, Trump ordering the assassination of Soleimani or the Abrams Accords normalizing some relations in the Middle East and perhaps, leading some people to take their eye off the ball, or a $6 billion bank account in Qatar that is still sitting there untouched. None of that has anything to do with the heinous monstrosities that were carried out, and none of that has anything to do with Israel's right to defend itself. The fact that we can't even agree on that gives me great concern for the next time there is a security challenge for America much closer to home that comes anywhere near this level of severity, because our politics seems to be stuck on stupid.
And I would take it, Joe, beyond just the politicians, the elected officials. The citizens of this country and other countries, they seem confused on what, to me, is a pretty simple black and white issue. The slaughter of innocent civilians. Nothing that comes after that attack would have happened if that hadn't taken place last Saturday. Bill, just kind of an overview, and then I want to understand here where this story is going to go, because I have a real fear that this is going to escalate pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm with Joe on everything he said. This was a heinous terrorist attack, and we should pursue Hamas to the ends of the earth to eliminate them. But my fear here is really where you want to go next with this, Steve, is how does this end? I mean, the Gaza Strip and Israel are like across the street from one another. They're not, hundreds or thousands of miles apart. They're literally adjoined, and there's 2 million people in the Gaza Strip. So where does this end, and how does it impact us? I mean, of course, the United States is going to defend our ally, Israel, but at what point? How far does this go? I got to say, in my lifetime, I can't remember being this concerned about a foreign conflict, because this has been going on for hundreds of years in the Middle East, and now they have weapons that are, can destroy entire cities. And I don't know where this thing is going to end, but I do know that our politicians on both sides particularly on the Republican side, with one leading contender for the presidential nomination on the GOP side, can't make this about them. This isn't about any politician here in the U.S. This is about the security and safety of Israel and her people. And they've been a staunch ally of ours since 1948, and I don't see any chance that's going to discontinue. My other concern is, how did we have such a faulty intelligence, right? Why did we not know this was coming? Whether that's on Israel or us or a combination, that's a little concerning that they were able to pull this off on a Saturday, and nobody seemed the wiser for it. So, yeah, this is one that I think is impacting all of us. And then we've got a clown show in D.C. where we don't even have a Speaker of the House who's third in line for the presidency. And if, in fact, the United States got drawn into war, and I'm not suggesting we are going to get drawn into war, but if, in fact, we were, you need the Congress to approve that. Right now, the Congress can't do anything.
Oh, and we're going to get to that, Speaker. Yeah, because that is a whole nother conversation. Just on this point, there's a reality that I don't know if we're not thinking about in the detail we need to be. There are hostages in Gaza, U.S. hostages potentially, Israeli citizens, others, that those images, if they come, of the treatment of those hostages, I think escalates this well beyond what we're talking about now.
Yeah, I think the best we can hope to do is hope that there are leaders, not just in the United States, but among the sort of Western alliance, who can help to keep this as confined a conflict as possible. To Bill's, suggestion that this is scary, and he's right. This is scary. This is the kind of thing that can very quickly spiral out of control. And so the fact that we have seen very clear moves very quickly from the United States, moving carrier groups, sending clear, unmistakable signals to Hezbollah in the north. You don't want anything to do with this fight. Refreezing that $6 billion so that there is leverage with Iran. These are very complicated, very complex, high-stakes diplomacy, the highest stakes. And I am just grateful that we have someone who literally has 40 to 50 years of foreign policy experience picking up the phone in the White House. You can make a lot of jokes about how old Joe Biden is. The upside of his experience is he knows the players in this region and around the world at a deep personal level, and that can be a good thing at a time like this.
Bill, could we also argue that this ramping up of U.S. military presence in the area, is that exactly what the terrorists want?
Yeah, I think they're looking for an excuse to escalate this, and our presence in that area, which I wholeheartedly support. I think we have to be there. Could be used as an excuse to escalate. And then where do we go from here? I mean, I think your listeners probably know by now that today there's a National Day of Jihad. What does that mean, right? Every New York City police officer, if they had the day off, was told, sorry, tomorrow you're not going to be off. Everyone is on duty today. So we're sort of already on high alert, and at least our largest city in this country. And, where does this go from here? I don't know that anyone knows, but hot rhetoric from either our current leaders or past leaders, I don't think helps the situation.
And I would argue, just as we go to break, that this is a logical byproduct of the mess we have created in politics in this country and perhaps the world. Bill McCoshen, Joseph Pecky, strategists on both sides of the political aisle. You can throw a question at us if you'd like. Old National Bank, talk and text line 855-616-1620. Both guests mentioned the mess in the U.S. House of Representatives, Republican side of the aisle, trying to find a speaker to replace Kevin McCarthy. We'll discuss that and more after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. Creative Planning is a wealth management firm that believes in a total approach to building wealth that includes taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other personalized elements. This approach allows you to receive advice that is aligned with your unique goals and always in your best interests. Why not give your wealth a second look? Visit creativeplanning.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. I'm looking for the creepiest tub or shower. My guys at Sidex want to replace your tub or shower. The winner gets a brand new complete tub or shower conversion installed at no cost by Sidex, up to a $10,000 value. They're doing the conversion in my house. Go to WTMJ.com/contest. Everyone's eligible if you live within 50 miles of Milwaukee. Creepiest tub or shower, you get a brand new one. Send us a picture of your creepiest tub or shower. I'll announce the winner live on Wisconsin's Afternoon News on Halloween.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Panoramic CBD. I'm a customer and a spokesperson. Whether you're looking to reduce anxiety, pain, depression, or just need to relax, Panoramic CBD has the best products for everyone's needs. They farm, process, test, and package their own CBD products, hence the slogan, from soil to oil. By overseeing every stage of the process, Panoramic CBD eliminates the middleman, ensuring unmatched quality throughout to offer you the best CBD products at the best prices. And get this, for you and your pets now. Yeah, check it out. Shop local. Shop Wisconsin. From soil to oil, PanoramicCBD.com.
Old National Bank.
I just got your home equity loan, and this feeling of joy and exhilaration overcame me.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon we call getting old.
Wow, so I'm not the only one?
No, small business owners feel it with expansion loans. Families feel it when they're setting up trusts and 529s. Nonprofits who need financing to help the community. And anyone who needs investment advice, they all feel it.
So it's not just me?
No, you're in a pretty big club.
Like a club I can join?
I really don't.
Is there at least a secret handshake?
Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National. Get old. Member FDIC.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
No showings, no closing costs, no staging, no real estate agent fees, no added stress.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
WTMJ Now.
Republicans doing their best to not pick a speaker, and they've struggled with candidates like Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. Now there's some talk of having a temporary Mr. McHenry, and I don't know enough about him. Maybe Bill or Joe does. So, Joe, we'll start with you. You're the Democrat in the room.
Oh, I thought this was McCoshen's account. I just wanted to say I think we should back up and remind people what the three of us thought last Friday when we talked, which was Steve Scaffidi had Steve Scalise, Bill McCoshen had Jim Jordan, I had the field. Since then, both Jordan and Scalise have dropped out, although Jordan appears to be back in.
Yeah.
And I think the one that was easiest, and I don't know how you guys missed it, was I knew this wasn't going to be done by Wednesday.
I should have listened to Congressman Glenn Grothman. He was all over this. This wouldn't be quick. Bill, what are we doing?
Well, the optics are horrible politically for Republicans. I mean, we have a thin majority, 4 seats. And if the Republican House Conference would operate under the William F. Buckley rule, which is elect the most conservative member who can win, right? Rather than demanding that it's the hardest right person in the conference or it's a middle of the road or rhino or whatever you want to call it, elect the most conservative person who can win. And Congressman Glenn Grothman, who I consider a friend, and I think he does a phenomenal job, he said today he thought that Jim Jordan would be Speaker sometime in the next 3 weeks. Think about that.
God, 3 weeks?
3 weeks. Right. I don't think that's possible. I think there are conservatives who want to govern. I think there are moderate Democrats who want to govern, who, if this goes another week, may form their own coalition and choose a speaker. It'll ultimately be a Republican, but it won't be somebody. Joe will win because it will be somebody from the field.
Give me a name, Bill. Who would that person be that some Democrats would say, maybe he's okay?
Maybe Kern from Oklahoma.
Interesting.
If he's got the right relationship with Keith Kern from Oklahoma, maybe he's got the right relationships with Democrats. But I don't know that Republicans can solve this on their own because they have people that are more interested in parading themselves before TV cameras and radio microphones than they are about governing. We are in charge. It is our duty to govern. So this should be something they stay in closed conference and all weekend until they come out with a speaker. Matt Gaetz, I said it last week, I don't think there's anything redeeming about him or the other 7 that did this. They didn't have a plan B, and now look where we're at. If Glenn Grothman is right and this goes 3 more weeks, what happens during that period of time internationally, in the Middle East, for example? And that backs us right up to the CR deadline. I mean, which originally I told you, Evil Billy was okay with last week, but that was before there were international issues rolling around.
Right.
This is a mess, and it's a self-created mess. 8 members of the House Republican Conference decided to go rogue and side with 208 members of the Democratic Conference. They own this, and, we haven't heard from Matt Gaetz since. He lit this fire and ran away and pretended he wasn't the arson.
He's probably putting his makeup on. So I got a text with actually a version of this question. Would you be shocked, Bill and or Joe, if the name of former President Donald Trump was inserted into the speaker conversation, Bill?
He can't win. And if you're a Trump supporter, let me explain why. There are 18 members of the House Republican Conference who are in districts that Joe Biden won. Not a single one of them would vote for Donald Trump. Not a single one, which means he can't get to 218. The other reason he can't win is there is a House rule that would need to be changed that says you cannot serve in leadership if you have been charged with a felony that carries a 2-year or greater penalty with it. Donald Trump has been charged with multiple
91
felonies that carry far more than 2 years. So he couldn't win. Could a Newt Gingrich? By the way, I'll remind the listeners what I said last week. You do not have to be a member of the House of Representatives to be Speaker. So could a Newt Gingrich do it? Yeah, maybe for a 90-day period of time.
Just what American politics needs, another old guy. Right?
Well, I mean, he certainly got the experience, and he brought the House conference to the majority for the first time in 2 generations. So, he knows how to win elections as well. But, it may take something like that to break this logjam.
All right, just for the folly of it, next week when we're talking, anything going to ignite the speaker conversation that's different than what we're talking about right now? Will there be a speaker?
I don't see it at this point.
I don't either.
Oh, then I'll just pick the other side because then I could be right.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll just take this opportunity to point out 2 things. Number one, you heard it from Bill McCoshen. He values experience. So I'm going to remember that one. I'm writing that down in my notes.
Oh, why do you say that?
Because you guys always say Joe Biden's too old. Like, there's an upside to experience.
He is too old.
Well, you can have a lot of experience and be 100 years old, but I wouldn't want a 100-year-old guy experienced or not being president. That's 2 different things. Go ahead.
Now you got all fired up. You made me forget my second point.
All right. I apologize for that. We'll take a break. Think about it. We'll take a break. Pause on that. I have 2 callers on the line. I'm gonna take their questions. We're not gonna bring them on the air, but we can bring them on. We'll see how it works. If Charlie can do that, we'll do that. We'll do that after the break. Joe Zepecki, Democratic strategist. Bill McCoshen on the right side of the aisle. And yours truly, Political Power Hour, the best hour of talk on politics in Wisconsin and beyond. More after this.
More of WTMJ now after this. There's no better green and gold insider than from the man who wore the green and gold himself, Bart Tauscher.
The thing you hear all through training camp, if you're an undrafted free agent or a late pick, is, hey, you're trying out for our team, but you're also putting film up there for the other 31.
Bart Tauscher is our green and gold insider every Wednesday at 4:15 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
I like his moxie. You know what? We're going to keep him on the 53.
Presented by your Wisconsin Chevy dealers.
Enjoy a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here to talk about one of my favorite places. It's the most beautiful and affordable fall weekend dining experience in the state. I know. I've been there many, many times. Enjoy your favorite steak, seafood, ribs, pasta, anything on the menu. Your second dinner's free. You walk in, you put your seats in the seats, and only half of you pay for your dinner. Desserts are also buy one, get one free every night. Saturday, buy one prime rib dinner, get one free. Enjoy that Manhattan. Sip on an old-fashioned. Check out the bourbon. Drink the wine. Great new wine list. The magnificent Sunday brunch is all you care to eat. Kids under 3 eat free always. Wherever you live, it's worth the drive to the Fox and Hounds through the Kettle Moraine Forest. The fall colors are spectacular. A Wisconsin must-see. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine, you'll love the all-you-can-eat Friday fish fry. All other dinners are buy one, get one free this weekend. Step away from your kitchen. The famous Fox and Hounds.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. And by everything, we mean top products by your favorite brands. From Blackstone to Blue Buffalo, Carhartt to Cooper, Milwaukee to Muddy, Scott's to Science Diet, DeWalt, Levi's, Purina, Husqvarna, Goodyear, Rapala, Vortex, whew, and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
This is a year of change for Wisconsin football. Whether it's a new quarterback or coach, our teams will be exciting to watch this season. As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows a thing or two about changing things up when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs. Call Evans if your supply chain team isn't running on all cylinders this season. Good luck to our Wisconsin football teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Hey, all of you radio listeners. This is Max, and we're back with another joke of the week. Why don't ghosts like rain? It dampens their spirit. Back to the show.
Oh, he's polished, even though he took some time off there for whatever he was, by going back to school. Max, my grandson, my oldest grandson.
I missed Max. Nice to have him back.
It is nice to have him
Max
back.
too.
Yeah, he's busy. The kids' sports and school and all the other things that kids do. So
workshopping his material in the off season.
He's very polished now. I give him credit. The kid's a professional. So thanks to my grandson Max for lightening the mood. All right. Last thoughts on the speaker thing, and then I want to take it. I've got two. I'm not going to take the calls, but I want to read their questions. So don't dump the calls yet, because they're important questions as we look back at the Israel conversation we started the show with. So last thoughts, Joe, on the Speaker of the House.
Oh yeah,
debate.
the one that's the thought that Steve made me forget.
Yeah, that I made you forget. Yes.
You are hearing some Republicans say this doesn't work when you only have a 4-seat majority. There's nobody who can get to 217 or 218. I'm just here to remind you that Democrats under Nancy Pelosi had a majority this narrow, and you never saw this or anything close to it level of insanity as you are seeing from Republicans.
That's a fair point. Bill?
It's a very fair point. I mean, we have a thin majority. It's our job to govern, which means we have to choose a leader, and they ought to do that. Whatever it takes over the next 72 hours, they ought to stay in meetings until they have somebody who can get 218.
You think they'll do that, Bill?
No.
That's insane to me. Like, get it done. What is the deal here? We're paying you literally to get this work done, and you can't even pass a resolution in support of Israel, which is sort of embarrassing since they're one of our principal allies in the Middle East.
Right. It's not a good look, right? And it is definitely a path towards the minority for the House Republicans.
All right. This is, again, going back to the Israel situation, the attack on Israel by Hamas. So I actually have two callers with the name Bill. So the first one, Bill from Wauwatosa, asks, how do we rationalize Israelis incarcerating Palestinians? And either one of you can jump on it. Joe?
The most complicated, complex piece of real estate in the world. Full stop. It is possible to denounce Hamas and the barbaric attacks that they launched against the Israeli people, civilians, women, children, the elderly, and separate that from a generations-long conflict that has been the best of bad choices in terms of how these two peoples try to find a home in the world, right? My ideal solution is not what the status quo was in Israel and Palestine a week ago. And I don't think there's many folks in this conversation anyways who would say that, oh no, everything was fine and hunky-dory. But you have to be able to separate that from the heinousness of these attacks and the right for Israel or any other nation to defend themselves and their citizens against this type of barbarism. And if you can't hold those two competing, or potentially contradictory thoughts in your head at the same time,
you shouldn't be working in foreign policy, global security, or national security, which is why many, many people are not. And maybe that's where I want to end this, is like, none of us, mere civilians who haven't studied this region and this conflict for generations, know what the experts who are involved here do. And I would just like people to extend a little grace to those experts, the people in Washington, D.C., on the National Security Council, working on both sides, majority and minority, in the legislative committees that have jurisdiction over this. These are really smart folks who have the best of intentions and want global security. That is the end goal of anyone who works in these areas. And so don't purport to understand their motives or malign them because they make choices that are nearly impossible, right? When it's this messy, the choices are between bad and worse, and you can understand all of that while calling out Hamas for the barbarity of this attack and understanding that everyone involved should be pursued and face justice, whatever that looks like.
Bill, the response now from Israel is going to be the thing that's going to be most talked about, and unfortunately the vicious attacks last Saturday will sort of fade. I hope that doesn't happen, and I've certainly been trying to talk about that as much as possible on the show this week, and I will continue to talk about it. But that question about Israel's response is going to be front and center as they respond, and probably with some pretty significant military force.
Yeah, but I would go back to Bill from Tulsa and say, are you justifying what happened last Saturday based on some other events that are unrelated? And the answer to this actually was best told last night by a mother in Israel who had her children taken from her last weekend. And she said, there is no moral equivalency here. There just isn't. What happened was terrorist in nature, and children were beheaded, families were separated, kids were slaughtered in front of their parents were slaughtered in front of their kids. There is no moral equivalency. So if Bill from Tulsa is trying to say there's some modicum of justification for this, I wholeheartedly disagree.
All right, that was Bill from Tulsa. Bill from Milwaukee, I'm going to ask a question, then we're going to go to break, and you guys can think about it. And this is something I alluded to earlier, the comments of Henry Kissinger yesterday, that cautioned countries, when you bring groups in that have these kinds of feelings, very sharp feelings about in this case, Israel, Jewish faith, when you're talking about things like genocide or destruction of Israel, and you bring them into your country, you shouldn't be surprised, especially in the case of France, that there's going to be massive protests by these individuals. So Bill from Milwaukee asked this question. Is this a wake-up call for us being conscientious, I'll add the word more conscientious, about who we let in the country, or make it broader, who any country in the world lets in? Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky, Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Think about it after this.
It's WTMJ Now.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Froedtert and the Medical College Wisconsin Health Network. Healthy joints are critical to lifelong mobility. Timely treatment of simple and complex joint problems can help keep you moving. Here to tell us more is Dr. Michael Decker, an orthopedic surgeon with the Froedtert and the Medical College Wisconsin Health Network. Dr. Decker, first of all, thanks for joining us today. What are the treatment options that your team offers?
Well, Jeff, thanks for having me. Treatment options can vary depending on the condition, but there are a number of them. We can go anywhere from non-operative care for patient-specific issues such as injections or medication management, occupational or physical therapy. We can provide a number of unique interventions such as platelet-rich plasma therapies, physical therapists that focus on sports performance and training improvements, all the way to surgical interventions depending on the condition, from soft tissue procedures to full joint replacements.
Dr. Decker, what is it that makes your program so unique?
I think one of the aspects of the Froedtert and Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network that makes us unique is that we can treat patients in a very patient-specific way because of our multidisciplinary and comprehensive approach to patient care. We offer an array of treatment options, including non-surgical treatments, minimally invasive procedures, all the way to more complex open surgical procedures, including robotic surgery for our patients.
Doctor, I know you do a lot with sports performance and an improvement training as well.
That's right. We hope to not just help patients manage the discomfort that comes with their conditions, whatever that may be. We hope that people who have high expectations for their activity levels, such as golfers, tennis players, athletes, and a wide range of folks, have the ability to really hone in and improve their skills and their training in a way that is also protective to their overall physical health.
Dr. Decker, this has been extremely helpful and informative. Thanks so much for being with us today. Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting froedtert.com/ortho.
WTMJ Now.
Thanks for tuning in this Friday, Political Power Hour with Joe Specchi, Bill McCoshen. And I'll start with you, Bill. It's a fair question. Henry Kissinger alluded to it yesterday when countries make decisions, including the United States, about who comes in. If you bring in people whose support isn't for the country they're coming to, who advocate out loud for the destruction of a important ally of the country, is that a proper vetting that you should probably consider? And this is something that's going to be talked about because we are seeing protests around the world, especially today, supporting Palestinians. And I've said all week, I support Palestinians. I completely abhor and hate terrorists, including Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, and the list, Al-Qaeda. Bill, what's the answer here? What's the right answer on questions like this?
Well, it may be coming from some of the other countries in the Middle East. Take Egypt, for example. They are not allowing the Palestinians to come seek refuge in Egypt. That should tell us all something, right? So Israel's telling the citizens of Palestine, the Palestinian citizens, you should leave. The attack is coming. If you're not part of this, you should leave. They're not leaving. They can't get into Egypt in part because Egypt has a 20-foot high wall and a 60-foot deep wall. It's all the same wall, but it goes 60 foot deep because of the tunneling that goes on in the Middle East. So they're saying, hey, we're not letting just anybody in here. You have to have our permission to come into our country. The United States does it the opposite way. Right now, we have an open border, actually, frankly, on both sides. On the Canadian side, to a lesser degree, but there are drugs coming in from the Canadian portion as well. And down south, I think we all know what's going on down there, and it's not good. And so, yeah, I think countries should have a right to establish borders and set criteria for when people come into their country.
Joe, the challenging part of this is you're looking at a Palestinian who wants to come to the United States or wants to go to France, wants to go to the UK, pick a country. And I'm not sure that anyone ever asked the question, what are your thoughts about Israel when that conversation's going on?
This is the challenge. It's a challenge. This whole conflict, right? These are two peoples, the Israeli people, Jews and Palestinians, who for generations have been looking for a place to call home, where all of their people can access economic opportunity, safety, a place to raise their families and live according to their culture and values, right? And so, like, is it easy to sit here and, say on the radio, like, every country should have a 72-question multiple choice test of how you feel about this, that, and the other thing? Well, if you are a mother or father or young person striving for a better life because you want those things, safety and economic opportunity and a place to raise your family and live in accordance with your values, why don't you just lie on the multiple choice test? How do you get to the roots of this? Like, this is really, really complicated and complex beyond the stuff that is black and white, which is you do not get to terrorize other human beings on this planet. And if you do, there are consequences and you should face justice.
The country of France yesterday banned pro-Hamas protest rallies. Do you think that's the right decision?
That's a really, really tough one. And I hate to equivocate, but I didn't think about it before this. So let's play this out. Here in this country, we value freedom of speech and expression. That includes the freedom to speak and express yourself like an idiot, like a knucklehead. And so I am very wary of changing those rules, particularly at a time of crisis and conflict, because I think crisis and conflict can often lead to bad decision making. You want to go be an idiot? You get to go be an idiot in this country. And to me, that's where I would lean while urging local authorities, law enforcement, and all the rest to make proper precautions and ensure the safety of the public. That's how I would approach this if I were in charge for a day. Good thing I'm not.
Bill.
Less is better at this point. Whether it's pro-Israel or pro-Palestine. I think the fewer demonstrations, while this is working itself out, will lead to fewer conflicts in other areas, whether it's France or New York City. As I said earlier in the program, I think we ought to lower the temperature if we can, because this is going to get worse before it gets better.
We all want to lower the temperature, Bill, but you can't have the state saying this protest is allowed and this demonstration isn't. That's not.
No, I agree
that's
with
not
that.
who we are, right?
I'm a free speech guy. Yeah.
This one I'm reading because, one, it's from a veteran, and two, it's a long-distance listener, and they're taking the time to listen to the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. So, from a multi-tour combat veteran, powerful words. War is stupid. We must seek peace. Where, and I'll add who, is our voice of reason? Joe.
Well, first of all, thank that veteran for their service.
Absolutely.
I was calling during the break with Steve, an inscription on one of the monuments in Washington. It is good that war is so terrible, lest we become too fond of it. And it is those who have served who know best. And so I will leave it there with that gentleman. We should seek peace. Blessed be the peacemakers.
Bill?
I don't know who that peacemaker is today, but I hope they emerge over the next 72 hours or week, because we need it. And hot tweets or X's, what do we call them? X's today?
X, yeah.
None of that is helpful. We need to find peace here.
I'll put it this way, and again, thanks for your service and thanks for taking the time to write to us. This is where leadership really matters. And, there's a lot of fake leaders, a lot of people who like to be on TV and talk and all that stuff. But this is where, really smart people, best and brightest is the cliched term about who you want to be.
Except it means the opposite.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We'll go down that rabbit hole.
But, this is where we need those people that are serious about things and don't play political games. And unfortunately, we have a multitude, an oversupply of people who just exist to talk and write press releases. So I will give this president credit. Now, his elderly voice isn't as strong as I would like, but the message, and you'll say, why do you say that? Because the people of Israel enthusiastically endorsed his message, as did leadership. That suggests that Joe Biden, President of the United States, said the right thing. All the other noise, including former President Donald Trump having some stupid disagreement with Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, I think it's silly and a waste of time.
I'll put it this way to underscore the point and not just be the typical partisan Democrat. If you were to say from the last 3 Democratic presidents, so Clinton, Obama, and Biden, who would you most wish to be in the Oval Office at this moment of conflict in the Middle East? To me, it is not a close question. The easy answer is, out of those 3 presidents, Joe Biden is the one you want on the phone talking to these world leaders.
Because of his experience.
Because of his years of experience, because of the deep personal relationships he has with these folks, because he's been there, he's done it, and that's a good thing. It doesn't mean that he's going to be the answer. This is going to get messy and ugly, but what I have heard in the president's public remarks is he's giving himself room to operate strategically down the road should he need to.
All right, Joe Biden, Bill McCoshen, Political Power. Man, this hour's going fast. Maybe we need to expand this at some point. All right, after the break, we got Grab Bag coming up. I got a few more questions for both of you. We'll get to those and your questions after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Do the changing seasons have you dreaming of that perfect sun-kissed getaway? From the Caribbean and Mexico to Hawaii or Florida, Fox World Travel's expert travel advisors can recommend their favorite beach resorts with Apple Vacations or island-hopping cruises with Princess Cruises and Royal Caribbean. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on the best savings of the season. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. There are memories to be made, and Fox has the expertise to get you there.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I've told you about it. Lots of bad nights of sleep. If that's your story, it doesn't have to be. I had snoring issues, constantly tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep, and it kept my wife Kathy awake as well. So we're both tired in the morning, and that's not a good thing. So I did something about it. I went to Advent, quick 30-minute visit, and they really put me at ease. I talked to 2 of their docs on my first visit. And after a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed, they determined my problem, my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well. Wife and I sleeping through the whole night. If you want to have that same story, if you struggle like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
For your new roof, we'll give you the hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty in the industry. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
When a new baby is added to the mix, saving money becomes a real priority. Shopping at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores can help. With an abundance of baby clothing and toys, all thrift store priced at pennies on the dollar. You'll spend a little to get a lot. Find great deals on gently used baby clothes and toys at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. My house is beautiful. It's been transformed. My wife is happy. Wisconsin Granite Design has one-of-a-kind custom slabs to choose from. They've got it all. Granite, quartz, marble. One of the largest showrooms in the Midwest. 2 to 3 weeks. That's the process from beginning to end. They did the work in our house. It was easy. They were there on time. They cleaned up, and we've got the best-looking granite in the neighborhood. Almost 80 years of experience. It's Wisconsin Granite Design. WisconsinGraniteDesign.com. A locally owned, woman-owned business. Wisconsin Granite Design.
WTMJ Now.
During the break, I was thinking about what I was going to ask Bill and Jill here because we're going to get to the grab bag in a second. So I'm going to ask this sort of a generalized question, and generally I'm not a fan of those kind of questions, but it's like a big picture thing. I have zero confidence right now in our election process. I have zero confidence that our public understands the importance of elections anymore. I think it's more about, partisan policy nonsense. Cheerleading for politics seems dumb to me. So I'm going to ask you just basic question. Am I wrong on this?
You're wrong.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Because in 2020 and in 2022, you saw record turnout for the presidential election of 2020, and you saw a safe, secure, free, and fair election. Yes, some knuckleheads did some knucklehead stuff afterwards, but we pulled it off.
It's more than that, though. We had an attack on our Capitol, Joe.
And then I understand. Believe me, I understand that. And then in 2022, you had high turnout for midterm elections. So I think as easy as it is to sit here and just bemoan, I think the American people have demonstrated by going to vote and participating in the process that our system can still work. And
all right,
still work.
Bill, talk me off the ledge. Did we lose Bill? Oh, there he is.
Are you?
Yep, we got you.
I'm here. Don't forget, Joe, the turnout in the spring election was a record as well.
Yeah.
For Janet Protasewicz. So people are engaged here. I think that's a good thing. That's what democracy is all about. I want that to continue. I wish the fringes on both sides would either go away or return to the minority faction of their own caucuses.
Well, they are the minority in my party.
yeah.
I think they are in mine, too, to be honest with you.
I hope so, Bill.
It's just that cooler heads haven't prevailed recently, and I'm hopeful that they find a way to do that as it relates to a new speaker, somebody that people can rally behind. I mean, we're in crisis right now. This isn't a time to attack Bibi Netanyahu. It's not really a time I'm going to probably tick off some Republicans to attack Biden. I mean, this is a time where you sort of rally around the flag and do what's right. And Republicans, what they need to do is get a speaker done in the next 3 days.
I'm glad you said that, Bill, because that's an important point. It is time to rally around the flag in the country, and I think some people are missing that point completely. And I apologize. Did I call you Joe Biden before?
Believe me, I've been called worse.
Yeah. Well, in your mind, that's a compliment, right? So yeah. So Joe's not mad. Why be mad? Hey, I made a mistake. God. All right. Grab bag. Joe Zepecki.
Last week we talked about how choices have consequences. And this week, Robert Kennedy Jr. announced that he is no longer running for the Democratic nomination for president. He will run as an independent. And wouldn't you know it, the Steve Bannons and crazy Republicans who have been promoting and pushing and trying to make RFK happen in the Democratic primary are suddenly realizing, oh my God, the Frankenstein monster has escaped from the lab, and now we've got an anti-vax lunatic who might take away some votes from the right and make it harder to return Donald Trump to power. Boy, I really feel bad for Steve Bannon and those guys. That's my grab bag.
All right. You got fired up on that one. Bill?
My grab bag is a shout out to recently retired public defender Kelly Sue Thompson. Kelly is the daughter of Tommy Thompson, our longest serving governor ever, former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary, former president of the University of Wisconsin system. She is his oldest child. She has been the state's public defender for the past 12 years and has done a remarkable job. She fought to get more attorneys statewide to adjudicate cases more expeditiously. She fought to get higher wages for those same people. It took her 3 budgets, even with Republican majorities. She is a tenacious bulldog for her clients. Even though she has ruled out potentially running for office someday, I'd say to your listeners, don't be surprised if you see Kelly Sue Thompson's name on a ballot someday, and hopefully that's sooner than later. So thank you for your service, Kelly. You did a remarkable job.
And I will make mine quick. The people of Israel, and especially the family members who endured unspeakable tragedy. I've seen a lot of the networks have been doing a lot of interviews with these people, and they've actually blown me away with their composure, because I wouldn't be that composed, to be honest, given the nature of what happened. So the people of Israel, these are big stories, complex problems, like Joe said at the beginning of this hour. We have to sort them out, because the alternative is deadly beyond belief.
Just to put this in context, you've heard some people say this is Israel's 9/11. It's actually worse than 9/11 was here, because it is like if every single American knew one of the people who died on 9/11. That is what Israel is dealing with. May their memory be a blessing.
Gentlemen, we'll do it again next Friday. Bill McCoshen, Joe Zepecki, the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. The news is next.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Wake up with me. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Tune in every Monday and Friday at 8:15 for Matzik's Morning Minute during Wisconsin's Morning News. Everything you need to know about all your favorite Wisconsin teams in just 60 seconds.
And a drive out to left. This is high, deep.
Every Monday and Friday at 8:15 during Wisconsin's Morning News.
And I thought he did a lot of great things. I thought he showed great poise, made some off-schedule plays, made the throws when they needed to be made.
Sponsored by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac.
Seth, the next ad should be about furnace beyondifications.
No, it's got to be same-day repairs 7 days a week.
A beyondification extends the life of your furnace.
Yes, of course.
And increases efficiency.
Which saves you money on energy bills. I get it.
I don't think you do.
But same-day repair helps people now whose systems are breaking down.
Beyondification saves people from having a breakdown in the first place. What did you tell me? Oh, sorry, Merle.
You're right.
We shouldn't be arguing. I was saying people should get a furnace beyondification. Right, saves you money.
I thought same-day repair 7 days a week was better. Saves you time and frustration.
You're exactly right, Merle. You're a genius.
You're a great squirrel.
Get same-day repair or a furnace beyondification today.
Save money.
Save time and frustration.
Online at callcapitalcares.com.
Do you like the safety of a CD, but not the early surrender penalties? Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Armstrong with Steinbrenner Financial and your Dave Ramsey Smart Vestor Pro. Tune into the Dave Ramsey program weeknights at 9 o'clock or visit steinbrennergroup.com to learn more.
The all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel has something you gotta see. Play more slots and games, and you could say, "Show me the money," to reveal up to 10 grand each Thursday. 800,000 in prizes is up for grabs. 40 winners each week. This October and November at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. When you're ready to win, just say, "Show me the money." More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
'Tis the season for Toyland at Fleet Farm. The elves are stocking shelves with the hottest toys like Barbie, Lego, Hot Wheels, and more at unbeatable deals. Find a lower toy price and we'll beat it by 5%. Doors open at 7 a.m. Saturday, October 14th. Plus, the first 125 customers get a free toy tractor. Get unbeatable deals on the toys you want before they're gone. Fleet Farm, the store with everything you need for a very Merry Christmas. See store for details.
Here at Rich Lawns, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center, and well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
We have heavy rain, 54 degrees. It's going to be a rainy day, and we're only going to reach about 55 today, cloudy and windy conditions. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber, and the weather tops our news this hour. That low-pressure system moving just south of southeast Wisconsin could drop 1 to 3 inches of rain in some spots. That storm also packing strong wind gusts, which TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson says could bring localized flooding on city streets in areas with clogged drains.
What I do see problematic for especially Milwaukee are metro areas, Waukesha as well, ponding and street flooding. That's why with wind gusts like this, 30 to 40 miles per hour, leaves will be coming down. So if you can, spend a few extra minutes today trying to clear those gutters and those drains.
Your complete 5-day forecast coming up at about 10:08. The death toll in the Israel-Hamas war continues to climb. More than 2,800 people have been killed, including 27 Americans. Israeli military forces now telling over 1 million people in northern Gaza to evacuate ahead of a likely ground operation. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin appearing beside the Israeli defense minister today at a news conference in Tel Aviv. He told reporters,
"So we will stand with Israel, even as we stand with Ukraine. The United States can walk and chew gum at the same time."
Hamas militants warning they will broadcast hostage executions on the internet. Hamas already has used Telegram to share grisly videos of kidnappings and murders. A spokesman for Hamas's military wing posted an audio message to the group's Telegram account this week, saying its fighters would kill hostages one by one every time an Israeli strike hits a home in Gaza. A member of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee lost his sister to Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. Mohammed Hamad told reporters they were only able to identify his sister by the name on her purse.
I went to the market to buy a little bit of food, whereas a warplane struck the market. I saw the videos. I saw videos you don't see. It was brutal. It was inhumane. It was a civilian, kids and women.
Over 24 Wisconsin organizations announcing at the press conference the formation of a coalition in response to violence against civilians in Gaza. Steve Scalise dropping out of the Speaker of the House race. He announced at a conference meeting Thursday night he would be pulling out of the race following a full day of meetings with fellow Republicans. The House Republicans will huddle again this morning. Milwaukee considering pay hikes for high-ranking officials like the mayor and common council members, as well as positions like staff assistants and deputy attorneys who have not had a raise since 2008. TMJ 4's chief political reporter Charles Benson tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
If they had looked at salary raises over time, these big increases wouldn't look as concerning to folks because it would have been something within the last 2 or 3 years, or they're getting a certain percentage over time.
Elected officials cannot give themselves a raise. They can vote for raises to be given in the next term of office. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag on Wall Street. The Dow is up 35, S&P 500 down 11. NASDAQ Composite is down 98. It's time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:05.
This report is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Pain relief and gimmicks. The two seem to go hand in hand. And it really is a shame, because when you're living with chronic pain, you're vulnerable. And that's why so many people get tricked into buying unproven treatments. At Rejuvenix, we understand how you suffer, how you wait to get out of bed because you know the pain is coming. Chronic pain from osteoarthritis is a terrible thing. And that's why we use our proprietary, powerful, FDA-approved treatments to precisely target your affected areas, to provide cushion and lubrication that helps deliver long-lasting pain relief in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenix Arthritis Pain Clinics. We're in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Rejuvenix.
Go to rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often, because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved, but here you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Week 6 of the NFL season got underway last night with the Kansas City Chiefs improving to 5-1 with the 19-8 win over the Denver Broncos. Over to baseball, where the Philadelphia Phillies are sending the Atlanta Braves home with the 3-1 series win. The Phillies winning Game 4 by a final of 3-1. They will face off with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLCS. And lastly, over to college football, where the Wisconsin Badgers will be hosting Iowa tomorrow afternoon in a battle for the Heartland Trophy. That kickoff scheduled for 3 p.m. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Despite the weather, the heavy rain, no major delays to report. 94 inbound from Highway 16 to the Zoo, running about 11 minutes. The Zoo into downtown, a typical 6 minutes. And 4145 southbound from Highway Q to the Zoo interchange, about a 14-minute commute this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Help fellow commuters. See an accident? Call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Mazda to support their Drive Out Cancer event.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Rain is going to be moderate to heavy at times today. Cloudy and windy, a high of only 55. Those showers will continue overnight with a low of 52. Windy and showers tomorrow with a high 55. Sunday, a chance of lakeside showers, cloudy and breezy with a high again of 55. Just a slight chance of rain Monday with a high 54. And partly sunny Tuesday, high 56. Madison right now 51 degrees. Green Bay 50. Milwaukee 54. I'm Connie Weber. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time. 10:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
And good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Sandy is on her listener trip to England, so hopefully she's having fun. Hopefully the weather is better because we are in a rain-drenched couple days scenario here in Wisconsin, which is just going to soak us beyond belief. Rain, rain, rain.
Isn't England also known for its rain?
It is. Good point, Charlie. Producer Charlie, as usual, right on point. And hopefully they're not getting rain in England. Actually, it forces me to go look at the weather forecast there. So she's on her listener trip through the end of next week, I believe. I was going to start just by saying this. And, I spent a lot of time last night because I had worked late Wednesday night. I was doing an event at the Medical College of Wisconsin with Marquette President Mike Lovell and others, and they were tremendous. Part of the Storytellers Harmony for Hope series. And so I worked late on Wednesday nights. And so last night I was just dead, tired. I wake up early. I wake up about 5. Get here pretty early, 6 o'clock at GKB Studios and on the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. And I spent a lot of last night which I don't do a lot of anymore because I like to be outside, but it was so lousy out. Just watching TV and watching the networks, and you know what they are, Fox, from the news perspective, and MSNBC and CNN. And if you've been watching any of those networks, you've been seeing these live interviews with some of the family members of the slaughtered Israeli citizens. And I made a point of mentioning that in the grab bag, that I am so impressed with these mainly women, mothers and sisters of people who were killed with the just senseless attack by Hamas last Saturday. And, as much as I admire their courage and their compassion, even in a time like most of us can't even imagine, it made me sad, and it's put me in a funk. And it probably crept into my show poll today. And I don't usually feel that way because I'm sort of a positive person. But maybe it's the Friday the 13th thing. Maybe it's the fact that I came into work and Debbie Lozga was trapped in the elevator. If you heard that story this morning, and I had to let the fire department in to rescue her, which they did. There's those first responders again. So I got in this mindset of worst person in the world. I didn't define the poll that way, but I'm going to define it on this next few minutes. And I gave you a few examples at the top of my head. Who's worse? And I said, define it any way you want. And I'll give you a little more clarity on the question I'm going to ask you in a second. So I just threw out some names. Mike Lindell, My Pillow guy, election denier. Jada Pinkett Smith, who basically screwed over Will Smith and is, in my opinion, a lunatic actress, apparently. And I threw a fun one in, President Biden's dogs, who apparently haven't found a Secret Service agent they don't want to bite, to the tune of dozens of injuries to our beloved Secret Service agents who protect the president owner of said dogs. So I just threw that out there, and we've got almost 200 votes already, and right now Mike Lindell is the clear winner. But I'm asking it this way on this show today. And you can take it wherever direction you want. I know it's a negative, but sometimes the world gets you down, and it's gotten me down. Because frankly, when I see protests in France and protests here in New York City and protests in the UK, in London, against Israel, I kind of lose it. Because it's one thing to not like someone or not like a country. It's a whole nother thing, a whole nother level of hate to say that Israel and the Jews should be essentially blown up out of existence. And I do make, and I've said this all along, this is my baseline on this, I do make a distinction between Palestinians and Hamas. And some people don't. Trust me, if you read the text line like I do, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of the texters say it's the same thing. And perhaps in some cases it is. So my question is simple in the next 15 minutes or so. Give me your worst person in the world, and then tell me why that is. Because I made this point to Joe and Bill in the Political Power Hour, 9 o'clock hour here on Fridays. We got to start defining this stuff, and we need a clearer line between good and bad. And I don't think we're doing that. We see elected officials, far too many, wasting our time, spending all their time writing press releases and on social media as if that's their job. We see too many of us spending all their time, like I did last night, which I refuse to do every night, just watching endlessly the trashing of each other, as Joe said brilliantly in the Political Power Hour today, the lack of coming together, uniting behind the flag in situations like this, uniting behind our ally, Israel. And I spent a lot of the early part of this week talking about the word terrorist and why I think it matters. And I could throw Hamas and their leaders into the worst people in the world, or worst person in the world category, because they are. But I'm curious what you think. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. It is so frustrating from the perspective of someone who does what I do to just go on and on and on endlessly with the political nonsense, the silence from people that I respect who should have opinions on this stuff, but because it's politically unpopular, they don't. Thank goodness for Bill and Joe, because they're not afraid to tell you what they think, sometimes surprising us based on their political affiliations and leanings. And that's, I would say, probably more of us in this country than most people think. Texts are coming in. I take a break. Love the calls as well, 855-616-1620. I'm not a doom and gloom guy, but on this day I'm feeling a little down. And I'm just curious where you're directing your ire and your angst, because, as I said, we need to define that line better, good and bad. And there's far too many people that I think should be on the good side that are creeping in the bad side, mainly because of politics. But I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. We'll take a break here. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Vince Vitrano here from Wisconsin's Morning News, reminding you to subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast. We update it every day with every segment, every interview, and every bit we do on the show. Wait, we don't do bits on the show.
If my intelligence is artificial, then why am I smarter than you?
Absolutely boat race.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
All right, maybe we do some bits.
F you.
Subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or listen live on WTMJ.com.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
Is your paycheck not going as far as it used to? You'll make good money at John Deere Horicon Works. Full-time factory workers at John Deere Horicon Works start at $23 to $25 per hour plus health insurance with no premiums and annual wage increases. Potential bonuses, $1,000 sign-on bonuses, and more at John Deere Horicon Works. So if you're tired of that small paycheck, move up to the big time at John Deere Horicon. Apply now at deere.com/Horicon. That's deere.com/Horicon.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Excel Concrete Coatings, the local, family-owned company that transformed my garage. My concrete floor was all beat up, cracked, broken, uneven. Excel fixed that, topped it with a beautiful multicolored surface, sealed the whole thing tight. They'll do the same for your pool deck, garage floor, basement, outdoor patio. Call the owners of Excel Concrete Coatings directly, 262-993-6950. Greg and Luann can't wait to hear from you. Tell them Vinny sent you at Excel Concrete Coatings. Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. I've had chiropractic care on and off my entire adult life. I can tell you Dr. Alex and his team at Connect Chiropractic do it different. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. At Connect Chiropractic, they use a special tool for adjustments focused on restoring nerve and muscle function. It's not just making your neck and back feel better, although mine already do. Connect Chiropractic can help with headaches, sciatica, vertigo, and more. Schedule an appointment now at GoConnectChiro.com. Tell them Vinny sent you. GoConnectChiro.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Before the break, I mentioned I was in a funk today, and generally all week is just watching and listening and reading about what happened in Israel last Saturday just is so depressing. And one of the texters reminded me of something I actually saw as well from the 920. We were at work yesterday. My client had on the religious news channel. And there's a man being interviewed who said it was a relief to see that his sister had been murdered because at least she is no longer suffering that reality that she could have been taken hostage. And think about that for a second. He was relieved that his sister had been murdered. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. And I've seen so many interviews over the last week that are similar, that I couldn't believe the amounts of compassion that these family members had, even in the wake of the brutality of those attacks. And this is why I got to this topic, is because I've been so disappointed with the reaction of people who want to continue to advocate for the destruction of Israel, the genocide of Jewish people. And, there's a couple of reasons why, right? We are so far removed, relatively speaking, from the Holocaust. We aren't aware of the realities of the brutality of that situation. And there's so many ways you can go find out. Movies, certainly enough books written, tons of documentaries that you can understand the depth of the despair that the Jewish population in this world had at that time. So that was kind of the basis for my show poll today, and just give you a quick look at it. I just gave you some names, and I actually tried to make it a little bit lighter than just doom and gloom. So I threw out Mike Lindell, Jada Pinkett Smith, wife of Will Smith, sort of, and President Biden's dogs, and Mike Lindell is the clear winner with 61% with almost 200 votes. And if you're not on the X, you can certainly vote on the Old National Bank talking text line, 855-616-1620. Art says this, and it doesn't have to be one person, it can be groups. The Iranian governments, Russian government, Hamas, Saudi Arabian governments. Mitch says this, eliminating mass killers from the list. Right now it's Matt Gaetz, who has brought the House to a standstill while having his narcissistic fantasy dream. In these dire times, we need a functioning government to resume being the leader of the free world, not this mess. And Bill, Joe, and I spent a lot of time on this in the Political Power Hour, which I'll read a nice compliment that somebody just sent me. And it is, again, I'm biased. It is the best hour of political talk on radio in Wisconsin. It is embarrassing as a country that when a group has a majority in the House of Representatives, which the Republicans do, a slim, they can't even agree, and this is so emblematic of what ails us as a country. They can't even agree on who should be in charge. And here's the crazy thing about the speaker election. This used to be more of an administrative position. And now it's turned to this circus because of the desire by Kevin McCarthy to be elected by putting in a caveat that basically said if somebody objects to him, he can be removed. And that's what happened, thanks to Matt Gaetz. And we see this just mess to the point, this is the embarrassing part for me. Congress, the House, can't put out a resolution supporting Israel at one of their worst moments in their history. It's embarrassing. It's dumb. We look dumb. The compliment was a very nice compliment from 414. The Political Power Hours are treasure. Both Joe and Bill do an excellent job of representing both sides. It'd be great if we could have this kind of show at a national level. Keep up the good work. Hey, we're working on it. There's going to be a lot of news about that hour coming up in the next year. From the 414, the worst person in the world today is the leader of Hamas. Putin would be second. Trump is third. Let's see. This is from the 414. I'm sad that these two ideologies can't coexist together without killing each other endlessly. It's a shame what religion, and more specifically religious extremism, can do to people's brains. You know, I was debating on doing a topic about that, but that's equally depressing. What do we know about faith? I'm a person of faith. Probably most of you are as well. It should be the direct opposite of what we're talking about. From the basic stuff, where, pick a faith in our country, we go to our place of worship, we are told how we should conduct our lives, we exit, door closes, and we act like insane lunatics on social media and hate people because of their politics. That's here. And then you fast cross the ocean to the Middle East, and a group of people is targeted because of their faith, using faith as reasoning behind that targeting and a call for genocide. 262 extremists in the Middle East, extremists in our government. The U.S. looks weak in world eyes because of the speaker issue, and our adversaries are taking advantage. That's Sue from Brookfield. Kathy says this: any leader or group of people who want to kill or torture innocent people for their own gain. Yeah, that is certainly top of list and top of mind after what happened in Israel Saturday. And, you know, I would caution the networks. I know they want to be journalists, hopefully want to be journalists first and foremost. I don't necessarily need to see those pictures. Maybe, I know people disagree with me, maybe we need to see that once. But showing pictures of babies that are in cribs filled with blood, or the charred bodies of babies, bodies laying on a street in Israel, I think we understand what happened. For the 9-year-old, this conflict is not about religion, it's about land. Both Israel and Gaza claim Palestine. Yeah, here's the thing. When two people claim the same rights, at some point you got to figure it out. And at some point you have to stop hating the other side. And I read the Hamas charter, at least the principal tenet of it. It calls outright for the destruction of Israel. So that tenet of that organization would never allow a two-state solution, the right to coexist, a somehow crafted peace accord that could find places where people can live peacefully. That can never be the case as long as people don't recognize the rights of other people. From the 262, 9/11 was one day. Yes, we activated our military and fought a war in another country. We as Americans have not had to live in a war terrorist situation. My heart is so broken for these families, as is mine. Very hard time. From the 262, why is it that the stupid people are in control? Because we elect them. Where's our military going when they're at top positions not approved for years now? Great question. Ask the people that you put in office. There are people, as we speak, who are playing games with political appointments because they're unhappy about Congress, unhappy about the president. I've said this years ago, and I've been doing this show for almost 7 years. When we started treating politics as sports, with excessive cheerleading, hating the other side, almost cheerleading for bad news because if the other party was in control, because then it would help you win in elections, that's when it really hit the fan. From the 9-2-0, Donald Trump, the Haiti spread and continues to spread across our country and the world. From the 262, Israel's dropping white phosphorus in Gaza, where half the densely population is innocent children. They're not specifically trying to kill terrorists. Wrong of Israel to commit genocide of innocent children. I said yesterday, Israel has to be very careful here. Whenever you have a story, especially a mass killing story, it garners a lot of headlines in the days and week after. But then the story shifts to what happens next. And if the what happens next is indiscriminate bombing in the Gaza Strip, supposedly in search of Hamas terrorists, and there's a lot of innocent civilians killed, that's a question that Israel's going to have to speak to. And that's the dangerous part of all this. Still time to get in, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. Talking with you on a Friday. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this in WTMJ.
WTMJ Now.
What time is it?
Do you have the time?
What time is it? What time is it? It's Lillard. He got the shot off.
Damian Lillard is officially a Milwaukee Buck, and we can get used to this.
Lillard, long range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
Listen to it all right here. We are the home of the Milwaukee Bucks, WTMJ.
The all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel has something you gotta see. Play more slots and games, and you could say, "Show me the money," to reveal up to 10 grand each Thursday. 800,000 in prizes is up for grabs. 40 winners each week. This October and November at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. When you're ready to win, just say, "Show me the money." More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
'Tis the season for Toyland at Fleet Farm. The elves are stocking shelves with the hottest toys, like Barbie, Lego, Hot Wheels, and more at unbeatable deals. Find a lower toy price and we'll beat it by 5%. Doors open at 7 a.m. Saturday, October 14th. Plus, the first 125 customers get a free toy tractor. Get unbeatable deals on the toys you want before they're gone. Fleet Farm, the store with everything you need for a very Merry Christmas. See store for details.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional? Worried about the direction of our economy? About making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Securities America Inc. member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Arbor Point Advisors LLC. Storm Fisher, Arbor Point, and Securities America are separate entities.
It's David Nason from WTMJ's The Fix-It Show for Hair Construction. If your septic or mound system needs repair, residential or commercial, contact the team who specializes in them, Hair Construction. They have you covered. The friendly, knowledgeable staff at Hair Construction can guide you from a simple septic pumping all the way through an emergency repair or replacement. For all your septic needs, contact the experts at Hair Construction today, 262-968-2550, or find them online at haircorp.com. That's HERRcorp.com.
WTMJ Now.
At the beginning of the hour, I asked you for the worst person in the world. It could be a group as well, and had some interesting commentary. And it's been all over the place, and I started by saying I was just in a funk, given what I've seen and heard and read over the last week, given the slaughter of innocent civilians in Israel. I got this from the 414. Good morning. People in this country who spend hours just yelling about the other. That's the worst person in the world. We have a lot of problems, but we need to work together. I study World War II and the Holocaust constantly, and knowing how hate disintegrates, we should try harder, not just yell into the wind. I put it back on all of us. There's consumers of this nonsense. There's consumers of this noise, political mostly, who make a lot of people a lot of money, and it perpetuates the radio squawkers and the TV squawkers and folks who write things that are essentially destructive based on their partisan view of how the world should look. And I think that's dangerous. Some people disagree. 317, thanks for the long-distance listen, 317. Amongst all your Trump hatred banter, it is selective memory not to remember that Trump basically had world peace with the Middle East on the table before the left started exploding all over him. Just a question from a friend. It's a fair point. I actually applauded President Trump for moving the name escapes me off the top of my head, but moved it to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv. I thought that was a smart call. And I think that's sometimes you have to look at politics in a different way. And, as you know, whatever I think about Trump, whatever you think about Trump, whatever someone else thinks about Trump, we shouldn't be afraid to say what we think. We shouldn't be afraid to point out the flaws. Embassy is the word I was looking for. For some reason, I couldn't think of it. U.S. Embassy. We shouldn't be afraid of that. And I said yesterday, I don't hate Donald Trump. I just don't think he was an effective president. And he did things I like, trust me. I like a conservative court. He did that. But when I weigh politics, weigh elected officials, the negatives far outweigh the positives. That makes sense, 317? Because that's my rationale. This is from Mitch. Stupid behavior isn't evil, and that's where the text line is appropriately concentrating. Matt Gaetz, though he's a jerk. Steve, seriously, you are just like the Republicans who can't get together and put your thoughts aside, never vote for Trump. Something is better than nothing. If you were a congressman, you'd be one of those that can't get their way, so you think you are cool and not vote. I don't really know where that comes from. As somebody who has an opinion show based on my opinions, I really haven't had a problem sharing those opinions. You might not like them, but here we are, me talking, you listening. So that relationship, as it exists in radio, is working just fine. Gail from Wauwatosa, last word. Some of the worst people in this country are those who have allowed our southern border to be as porous as it is. This has allowed all kinds of people with sympathy towards terrorist groups or terrorists themselves to infiltrate America. Yes, we better finally start to be careful who is allowed to enter our country, or soon we will no longer recognize America. I don't disagree with that. I've told you what I thought about the border policy. It is open. That's wrong. But the reason it's been this way for so long is because both parties, when they've been in power, have done nothing about it, or haven't been able to assemble a coalition from both sides to find a decent, honest way to deal with the border. And because of that, open the doors. And I guarantee you this will stop. I said this yesterday. I'll close with this. This will stop when somebody comes across that border that shouldn't be in this country with the intent of killing Americans. And if they carry out that threats and kill Americans, then all of a sudden the switch will be flipped. And how did we let this happen on our border? How did we allow this mass casualty event to happen? And the answer is you screwed around with it for 3 decades. That's the answer. All right, we're going to shift gears completely. We're going to have some fun in the next hour or so. Virtual baseball, the last few weeks of virtual baseball for 2023. I need 2 callers, 855-616-1620. Thanks to our friends at Siding Unlimited, you can win a chance to win a drawing for a $500 gift card in the month of October. You want to be that person? Well, you got to call right now, 855-616-1620. Virtual baseball sponsored by Siding Unlimited. That's next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car's not one of them. That national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
What? The car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adamm.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Rain or shine, grab your bat and let's play ball. It's time for virtual baseball. Brought to you by Siding Unlimited on WTMJ Now.
All right, play some virtual baseball. Joining us on the phone is, first off, Claire from Menominee Falls. Hi, Claire.
Good morning.
Pleasure to have you on the line. Tell us about Claire from Menominee Falls in 30 seconds or less.
Well, I am a cleaning lady. I have 2 children and 2 dogs and a wonderful husband.
Hey, those are good things. Now, the cleaning lady thing intrigues me. When you clean, I assume you're cleaning houses or businesses?
Yeah, pretty much I clean houses.
Okay, so I'm just curious. When you clean houses, what's the dirtiest room in the house, typically?
The bathroom.
Is it? What is the recommended amount of time if you hire a professional cleaner, and you're a professional cleaner, to have someone come and clean your house?
Between 4.
You cut out there a little bit.
I would say typically between 4 and 6.
Okay. We're getting a lot of information from Claire. Let's meet your opponents, your competitor, Marlene from Milwaukee. Hi, Marlene.
Hi.
How are you?
How you doing, Steve?
I am wonderful on this Friday. I was a little down, and a lot of reasons to be down in this country, but we're having fun now, and you're part of that fun. So tell us about Marlene from Milwaukee.
Yeah, the doom and gloom is gone. I got through.
There you go. Tell us.
I live on the northwest side of Milwaukee.
Okay.
I have 6 children, 5 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren.
Ooh, you got a lot. You got a lot going on. What's the best thing about having grandchildren and great-grandchildren?
Well, you can do stupid things and get away with it.
That's like the best answer I heard today, Marlene. That's wonderful. All right. Producer Charlie's going to lay out the ground rules for you both. You're going to get 5 at-bats. He'll go through all that. Charlie, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Take it away.
All right. Claire, Marlene, there are 2 players, and that's you 2. Each player gets a separate set of 10 highlights. Each set includes an equal number of singles, doubles, triples, home runs, and outs. They are numbered 1 through 10, and you get 5 selections. And we only record the hits in the highlight, not the runs scored in the highlight. And after 5 swings, the number of runs tallied becomes your final score. If there's a tie, the home team gets to try and walk it off. First caller selected is always the home team. And the winner wins a WTMJ prize package and a chance to win a $500 gift card from our partners at Siding Unlimited.
Oh, well done, Charlie. I didn't have to say any of that stuff. All right, Claire, so you're going to listen as Marlene goes first because you're the home team. You'll have the last at bat, Claire. Marlene, you heard it. There's 10 clips. You get to pick 5 of them. The object, of course, is to score the most runs. What's your first pick?
Right. Number 6 for 6 children.
All right. Number 6 is Owen Miller.
Miller, ground ball towards the middle. Swanson fields, throws after a spin. No pick from Hosmer. Should be a base hit for Owen Miller.
There we go. You got a runner on. Marlene, good start. Second pick.
Yeah, right. How about 3?
All right. Number 3 is William Contreras.
2-0 pitch. Contreras, a line drive. It's short hot by Swanson. Goes the second one on to first and double.
All right, we're just going to count that as 1 out. So it's still a runner at first. But, Marlene, you got to get some runs across the board. What's your third pick?
Oh, boy. Lucky number 7.
All right, 7.
Number 7 is Brian Anderson.
The pitch. Swing and a fly ball center field. Backing up Nemo. Warning track. Wall. Got it again.
Oh, Marlene.
Brian Anderson.
You just hit yourself a 2-run homer, so 2 runs on the board. Good job. Your 4th at bat. Still time to get some more runs. Still another home run on the board. What's your 4th pick?
Number 9.
Number 9.
All right. Number 9 is Bryce Terang.
Tommy Hunter deals again to right and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Go!
Oh, back-to-back, Marlene. Home run, impresario. Marlene has put 3 on the board. Let's see what you can do in your 5th pick, but right now the number's 3. What's your 5th and final selection, Marlene?
Well, it's a toss-up.
Got to pick one.
I'll take, that's it, number 1.
There you go. Number 1 is Rowdy Tellez.
First offering to Tellez. Swung on and lifted into right center field. This is headed for the gap. Kiermaier lays out. It's off of his glove. It's going to roll all the way on the warning track over towards right field. Tellez is around second. He's chugging for 3. It's a triple.
Oh, I was kind of hoping he went all the way around those bases. Marlene, very respectable 3 runs there. So stay on the line. Let's see what your opponent, your competitor, Claire from Menominee Falls, can do. Claire, you heard what she did. 3 runs, 3 ties you. We go to extra innings. 4 walks off Marlene. What's your first pick?
I'm going to go with number 4.
All right, number 4 is Willie Adames.
And the 2-1 pitch. High fly ball, deep right field. Back on it is Walker at the track. Bye-bye baseball.
Oh, Claire's not messing around either. Like the home run fever today. Claire, good starts. 1 run on the board. You got 4 more at bats. Got to score 3 to get into extras. What's your second pick, Claire?
I will take number 8, please.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Bryce Terang.
Comes right back with the 1-0 pitch, and it's a ground ball. Fair ball up the first baseline. Going to roll all the way into the corner. This is extra bases for Terang. He's at second. He's streaking around and headed for third. Here's the throw. It's cut off. Bryce
All
Terang
right, very
with a
nice, Claire. You have a runner at third base. So you still need 3. You're trailing 3-1, but you have 3 at bats left. The magic number is 3. What's your magic number third pick?
Number 3? Did I take that?
No.
No, number 3 is Brian Anderson.
As Anderson lines one to center field, that'll get down for a base hit. Good start for the Crew. Leadoff single.
Single. All right, so Claire, you've scored 2 runs, still trailing Marlene. Runner at first, 2 at bats left. You got to at least get 3 to go to extras. What's your fourth pick?
Number 9.
Number 9 is Garrett Mitchell.
First pitch swinging. It's a line drive down the right field line. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Anderson's around second. They're going to wave him around third. Mitchell on his way to third. Here's the throw to the plate. It will be cut off. And Garrett Mitchell with an RBI triple gives the...
All right, now it gets interesting. So the score is tied at 3, Claire. You have 1 at bat left. But the exciting part for you is you have a runner at third, and there's still a home run on the board, or any hit would score that run, and you would walk off Marlene. What's your 5th and final pick?
Number 5.
All right, number 5 is Christian Yelich.
And the 3-1. Yelich, a line drive down the left field line. It's going to carry out there, and a jumping catch made by him.
Oh, you almost had it. All right, Claire, you scored 3. Marlene scored 3. That means we go to extras. Charlie, what do they have to do?
All right, it's time for the tiebreaker. The home team has the chance to win the game in a walk-off fashion. That's you, Claire. We have 2 highlights labeled A and B. One is a walk-off hit. The other is a game-ending out. The home team must choose A or B. If it is a walk-off, then the home team wins. If it's an out, the home team loses. And the visiting team will go home with the WTMJ prize pack.
All right, Claire, what's it going to be?
Well, last time I played, I lost in overtime, so I'm going to try not to repeat. I will go with A.
Claire says A. Charlie?
A is William Contreras.
And the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Arizona.
Now, did you pick A last time and lose, or did you pick B last time? Do you remember?
Oh, God, I have no idea. I only remember useless knowledge.
All right, Claire. Well, you could call back because you're eligible, so keep calling. Thanks for being such a great competitor. Marlene, this means you are a winner of Virtual Baseball. You win a WTMJ prize package, and you're entered in the October drawing for a $500 gift card, Marlene. What do you think about that?
Well, I could use it, that's for sure.
All right. Well, good luck to you. We're lucky today. You benefited in the extra innings where Claire didn't get it done. Hang on the line. Producer Charlie will get all your information. Take us to break, Charlie. And thanks to Signing Unlimited.
And then the foul balls, the split fingers, and broken fingers, all that stuff.
I'm surprised you still have fingernails on that right hand.
I got more in my bag. Speaking of foul, by Rowdy.
Are you ready for the chills and the thrills of October? Griffin dealerships are here to keep your car running smoothly. We got spooktacular deals that'll send shivers down your spine. We'll change your oil, inspect and rotate your tires, check the battery and the air filter. But that's not all. Our expert technicians will give your car a complete multi-point inspection. Make sure it's ready for the darkest and coldest nights. Worried about your AC or heat? Don't be. We'll check that too, so you'll stay comfortable on your eerie journeys. And if your wiper blades are as scary as the haunted house, we'll replace those as well. All of this for just $129.95. But remember, this offer is only available during the spookiest month of the year and only at the nearest Griffin dealership. So come see Griffin for the deals today. Good at all 5 Griffin dealerships, because when it comes to facing the cold weather, we've got you covered. Let our expert team take care of your vehicles. Drive in, drive out, drive with peace of mind with the magic. Griffin dealerships, your Halloween heroes.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
It's time to take your sleep to the next level at Steinhoffel's with the Tempur-Pedic Ergo Smart Base powered by Sleep Tracker AI that automatically responds to snoring by raising your head, giving you a better, more restful night's sleep. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and you gotta love finding change in the junk drawer, or even better, a 20 in your laundry or pants pocket, right? But the best source of extra cash may be in the walls of your home. All right, wait. Now, put down the sledgehammer and tap into the value of your house by setting up a home equity line of credit and experience a state of tranquility, knowing funds are there when you need them. Get started at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com. WTMJ Now.
It is Friday. It is WTMJ Now. I am Steve. Sandy Max on her listener trip to England. Hopefully she's having fun in the country of my birth. Just around Swindon, Wiltshire, that area outside London. Been back. Beautiful part of the world, actually. So those listener trips are always fun. And I got another one coming up in 8 months. July. Starts in Munich, Germany, a couple nights, and then we get on a river trip. You can find out about it at Fox World Travel. And Rose Gray has put this trip together. And the Italy trip, which I've talked about, and actually for all my Italy listeners who went, there was like 44 of them, 45. We're going to be doing a little reunion party at some point, so listen carefully to the show over the next week or so, and we'll lay that out for you. But my next group of listeners, and there's some commonality between the two trips, actually, which is very cool. We're going to bring a beer expert with us, which is very exciting, and I look forward to that trip. So that's July. And as I said the other day, if Rose is listening, really looking forward to putting together a Ireland-Scotland trip. Why am I whispering? I have no idea. But I'm looking forward to that trip because it's going to combine, if we can get it done, golf and all the tourist stuff that we like, and the drinking and the eating, which is part of it. I'll never forget. And I've been on a couple listener trips to Alaska and to Italy, now the Tuscany region. At one point, this assembled group, which is all kinds of people from all places, including Illinois and Wisconsin. I think there was somebody from Michigan, which speaks to the kind of the power of WTMJ. We had such a good time at one of those farm-to-table places, vineyard, olive oil farming, that we are on the bus back, and everybody's had enough wine. We're singing Neil Diamond songs, and I actually recorded some of that. I don't know if I put that in the feature that I did, but we had such a good time. So I'm sure we'll reassemble that cast of characters at some point in the near future. little cleanup from our conversation about politics. And I have to say this. The Donald Trump thing is interesting because I will never sit here and say he's not a popular elected official / candidate, because he is. It is remarkable, stunning actually, that given his story since he left office, given the challenges, legal and otherwise, he's facing, that he continues to be the leading candidate for Republicans for president, and it's not close. Now, somebody asked me in a text, well, what do you think is going to happen there? My belief is, and I don't know if I've shared this or not, is that at some point, either Donald Trump makes a decision that I can't do all of these things. I can't be in courtrooms. I can't be not campaigning and have any reasonable shot to win the nomination for president. Or a court, Republican National Committee, someone decides you can't be the candidate, which opens up a can of worms and a whole lot of whatever when you tell a lot of voters, going by what happened in 2020, that candidate is no longer viable. And I make no secret, if he is the candidate, which is still very likely, and we'll be front and center for that debate because the Republican National Convention is here in Milwaukee. I do not believe today that Donald Trump has any chance of winning that election. Actually, I think he could be beat horrifically when it comes to electoral votes. Now, here's the thing about predictions in politics. You could be radically wrong. Just, recue the old podcast and audio from 2016 when everybody was predicting Hillary Clinton was going to win, including almost everybody on this station at the time. And they were all wrong. Other station, all wrong. So careful with predictions, but that's my prediction. So I've been pretty good on predictions over the last few years, including telling you before it happened that Vice President Biden, then nominee for President Biden, now President Biden, would pick a woman for vice president, and that was one of the big ones that I got right. And I said he would beat Donald Trump in 2020. Couple cleanup texts. Crazy doesn't trust crazy, but crazy will take advantage of total senility and unwillingness to act. A direct question from the 262: are you willing to at least admit that this probably would not be going on in Israel if Donald Trump was president? I'm not admitting that. I don't know, and neither do you. Perhaps you could also make the case that the $6 billion has been linked to that decision by Hamas to attack Israel last Saturday. I don't necessarily think that's the case, and I'm actually glad that they froze those funds again. Texter goes on to say that he doesn't believe China would be, he or she does not believe China would be as aggressive, and I don't believe that Russia would be involved in a war. I don't buy any of those premises because I don't think we know. Here's the part that bothers me about Donald Trump's international experience or lack thereof. He seems to want to endorse or offer platitudes of support to dictators, including terrorist dictators or murderous dictators, including Vladimir Putin. That seems dangerous to me and not really smart advice that a president should be handing out. And we will all figure out in the years ahead, this election, the next election, where the conversation goes with what is now defined as the new axis of evil: Russia, North Korea, China, Iran. And again, an optimistic person, me being pessimistic, I don't see this going well. So having serious leadership and avoiding circuses is probably the best strategy, in my opinion. And a lot of people say to me, Bill is a conservative, and he's got the credentials, so don't ever doubt his credentials. When a conservative like Bill McCoshen tells you that this is a clown show and a circus that's happening in the House, believe him. He doesn't just make it up. It's embarrassing, and it illustrates that circus that I've been talking about for a long time. All right, after the break, haven't seen her in a while. She's been world traveling as well. Libby Collins will join us in studio after the news, which is next.
More of WTMJ now after this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bucks basketball is back.
Well, if he not the Thanasis, and he'll send it down with a two-hand dunk. He's got
this place hyped up.
Listen to the Bucks fine-tune their way to the regular season with preseason games on WTMJ. Our next broadcast is Sunday against the Lakers. Our Bucks radio network coverage tips off at 6. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Breakthroughs aren't just for medical journals. They're to help people hold their grandbabies for the first time. Expertise isn't just for awards or recognition. It can be what gives people the best chance to walk again. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, people are the driving force behind everything we do. So we never lose sight of what's important. And we never forget who it's for. Because in the end, we're people helping people. That means every breakthrough, every clinical study, every interaction is to help people like you, your family, and your neighbors be the best they can be. We do everything possible because we see everything possible in you. To find out how compassion motivates world-class care, visit Froedtert.com.
I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
The technology frustrations we hear about, hands down, ease of use.
We take that complexity out of it and keep it down to the bare minimum of what they need and what they use.
Our goal is to lend a level of simplicity that any knowledge level can walk into that room and at a glance know exactly how to turn that room on and utilize all of its features.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
For over 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m., the tradition continues during Blaine's Toyland opening weekend. Like top toys from Barbie, Hot Wheels, Melissa and Doug, and more. Plus, shop our super weekend doorbusters throughout the store, like 30% off select dog and cat toys. And select men's, kids, and toddlers' outerwear styles are half price. Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland, where wishes come true for everyone, starting Saturday at 7 a.m.
This message is for the person who always gets asked to make the plans, the person others always go to for restaurant recommendations. Next time you're the one expected to plan the next team outing or girls' night out, let Milwaukee or Chicago Food and City Tours make those plans for you. Don't worry, you can still take the credit, but we'll handle the planning and make sure that everyone, including you, has a delicious time. You set the date, we'll handle the rest at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com or ChicagoFoodTours.com.
At Annex Wealth Management, we believe every portfolio tells a story. After all, we've analyzed thousands. Some reflect diligence and fortitude, others a mishmash of overlapping investments. When Annex reviews your portfolio, we spot what works, what might not, and then provide unbiased suggestions free from sales commissions. Every portfolio tells a story. Let's work on yours. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. As a fee-only fiduciary, that's our story. Head to AnnexWealth.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:01, we have heavy rain, 54 degrees. Rain is going to be possibly heavy at times today. Cloudy, windy with a high of 55. Scattered showers continuing this evening. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. A low pressure system moving just south of southeast Wisconsin today could drop 1 to 3 inches of rain and produce some localized flooding. The storm also packing some strong wind gusts. We'll have the complete 5-day forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. Israel ordering civilians in Gaza City to clear out ahead of a possible ground offensive there in the wake of the Hamas attacks. ABC's Ian Pinnell has more from Israel.
The United Nations issuing a warning saying conditions inside Gaza are, quote, horrendous, and saying that this evacuation advice that's come from the Israeli military, essentially warning people that they should leave their homes. This will affect hundreds of thousands of people, could push Gaza into the abyss. As bad as events have been over the last week, there are fears that it could get even worse in the days to come.
At least 27 Americans among the more than 3,100 people who've been killed in the Israel-Hamas war. Families of Americans believed to be hostages of Hamas will meet virtually with President Biden today. House Republicans continue to look for a new speaker. Majority Leader Steve Scalise dropped out of the race yesterday after failing to round up the 217 votes needed to be elected by the full chamber. Republicans now weighing whether Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan can rally enough support to win the speaker's gavel. A new agreement reached prior to the state assembly taking up the Brewers Stadium funding package will decrease local contributions by $67 million.
The bill will not, however, bring any changes to the Stadium District Board, representation on which had been a concern for Mayor Cavalier Johnson and County Executive David Crowley. The bill's author, Representative Rob Brooks, tells WTMJ that could still be brought up.
That could come up in the Senate and that could change, along with the non-brewer ticket tax could change.
Brooks says it's been a team effort from Democrats, Republicans, the governor, and local leaders to arrive at a solution.
Everybody had a common goal to keep the brewers, and we all wanted to do it without affecting services in the state or put in jeopardy any tax reductions or anything else, and we were able to do that.
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
The bill will come up for a vote in the Assembly next Tuesday. The grand opening of a Kohl's in downtown Milwaukee is fast approaching.
Editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal, Mark Cass, says the department store is important, just like other projects such as the MSO and Convention Center expansion.
One is important for the people that live here, but two, it's important for crime, because if there's more energy and activity on the streets, you're going to have less crime. It's also good for those people who are at conventions.
And some of those other downtown projects will add shoppers for Kohl's.
What's gone on over the past couple of years in terms of all these employers who are coming downtown? What's going on next door over at Milwaukee Tool? What's going on at Fiserv?
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
That grand opening is set for November 3rd. Tentative agreement's been reached to end the largest healthcare strike in American history.
Around 75,000 employees of Kaiser Permanente walked off the job for 3 days last week over pay and staffing levels at Kaiser hospitals and clinics. The union was threatening an 8-day strike next month unless a compromise was reached. Without giving details, the coalition of Kaiser Permanente unions now says an agreement has been reached. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Waukesha Police Department advising the public to stay away from the intersection of East Avenue and Highway 18 after a serious crash that's closed a section of road. An unresponsive victim taken to the hospital, no word on their condition. Another stretch of protected bike lanes on the way for Milwaukee. A new $3.2 million plan unveiled by the Department of Public Works would construct a two-way protected lane for cyclists on Van Buren between Wells and Brady Streets, while also making that stretch two-way. DPW says Van Buren Street recorded 310 crashes between 2017 and 2021. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 26 points. S&P 500 down 19. NASDAQ Composite off 155. Annex Ignite, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client. They'll meet you where you're at. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:05.
Commercial insurance is still getting more expensive. To share his knowledge on the topic, here is Jeff Salazinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Hi, Vince. Today's commercial insurance market is more complex than ever. If your insurance professional is not offering you insights on the state of today's insurance market and only providing you a quote, you're with the wrong agent. Inflation of everything has rendered many policies inadequate. Lawsuits and jury awards are being settled for higher amounts than ever before, which means your liability and umbrella policies may be inadequate. Have you discussed this with your agent and how these factors have impacted your business insurance?
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
Sharing market insights and their related impact, as well as laying out strategic options for your business, are what R&R Insurance does best. We've been doing this for 48 years. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
This is a year of change for Wisconsin football. Whether it's a new quarterback or coach, our teams will be exciting to watch this season. As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows a thing or two about changing things up when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs. Call Evans if your supply chain team isn't running on all cylinders this season. Good luck to our Wisconsin football teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
When it's time for a new lawnmower, buying local is important.
Purchasing one from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment means you're well taken care of after the sale. Their knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and is available to do tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at the Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. And tune in to the Fix-It Show this Saturday morning at 7, when an expert from Olson's will answer all your power equipment questions.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Week 6 of the NFL season got underway last night with the Kansas City Chiefs improving to 5-1 with the 19-8 win over the Denver Broncos. Over to baseball, where the Philadelphia Phillies are sending the Atlanta Braves home with the 3-1 series win. The Phillies winning Game 4 by a final of 3-1. They will face off with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLCS. And lastly, over to college football, where the Wisconsin Badgers will be hosting Iowa tomorrow afternoon in a battle for the Heartland Trophy. That kickoff scheduled for 3 p.m. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving time-saver traffic. No freeway delays to report, but we do want to remind you about that crash. East Avenue and Highway 18 in Waukesha. Serious crash. A section of the road closed this morning. We'll keep you updated on that situation.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com, because today's your day.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, moderate to heavy rain today and scattered showers continuing tonight. High today 55, low tonight 52. It's going to be windy too for the next day. Windy, showers tomorrow, mostly cloudy 55. A chance of lakeside showers on Sunday with a high 55 again. Slight chance of rain Monday 54 for the high, then Tuesday partly sunny 56. Madison 51, Green Bay 50, Milwaukee 54. I'm Connie Weber, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:09.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
And happy Friday, everybody. Sandy's on her listener trip to England, so we'll hear all about that at some point. And Libby Collins, who joins me in studio on this Friday. Hi, Libby.
Hi, Steve.
We were just traveling the globe as well.
Well, you and I were both in Italy, but not with each other.
No, at the same time in Italy. So where were you at?
Well, we were in Sicily. My cousin has
one of my favorite places.
My cousin has a villa near Cimena.
Her cousin has a villa.
You know, this was not planned. Honestly, she said, Libby, maybe you should go there, and I couldn't say no.
My cousin has a villa. You should go check it out.
It was fabulous. It was so relaxing. And then we spent a couple days in Rome, and we also have friends in Vienna. So
you jetted up to Vienna?
We did. We were kind of all over the place.
All right, so other than Sicily being awesome, which I agree with, what was your favorite thing about your trip quickly?
Boy, that's a hard question. You know what? One place we went is when we were in Austria, we were in Vienna, we were in Salzburg, and we took a side trip to Berchtesgaden, which is the eagle's nest. And
amazing.
My husband and I love history.
Yeah.
And
amazing place.
That, of course, was Hitler's retreat, and there was so much history involved in it. Things I never thought I would see. It was amazing. And I think Rose Grays has a trip coming up where they're going to be going there.
And is it being maintained, or is it kind of just...
There's one building. Most of it was destroyed by the RAF.
Right.
But there was one building which is where Hitler held conferences with his generals and also greeted various guests from around. This is prior to the outbreak in the 30s at this place, European leaders, and also it contains the tea room, where Eva Braun would entertain the wives of these people while Hitler had his meetings. And the original elevator is still there, and you ride up in that.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
I love history, and when you can touch history and literally touch history and go on these trips, it's so fun. All right, so Libby is, of course, the host of Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News and the host of Conversations. And you got a good one this week as somebody who's vested in politics as a former elected. Scott Klug, I haven't thought about him in a while.
Well, Scott is an interesting fellow, and I've known him a number of years. And really, it was kind of one of these things. It was difficult talking him into doing Conversations. He has such an interesting background. But, of course, he's got something to promote right now. So that's how I really got him. And
that was the hook.
Yeah. And actually, because it's an election year, he has such a great background, not just in politics, but he was a TV news reporter for a number of years, including 8 years in Washington, D.C. before he ran for Congress. And so he's a wonderful storyteller. And he's got a podcast during this election cycle that's called Lost in the Middle, where he focuses not on people on the far right, not on people on the far left, but those kind of in between. And he tells a number of different stories about that. So we talk about that. But what I really got him to talk about is his background. And he was born right here in Tosa, and he started his career as a news reporter. I think he was before... When he was a news reporter, after that, he served in Congress for 4 terms in Madison. And I asked him what it was like transitioning from covering news to becoming a newsmaker himself. You had been covering politicians as a reporter. Now you are one. What was your impression when you first got in there and looked around at the other people who had been there much longer than you?
There were folks who got elected with me who were, a small town banker from Nebraska and a guy who'd been a professor. Another guy who was a building contractor, and they never really spent any time in D.C. So when I got elected, I knew what to expect and I knew where to go. And I carried a Metro Pass in my back pocket to wander around town because I'd lived and worked in Washington for 8 years before then. And I think it gave me a huge advantage coming out of the media because I understood how the press worked. In some cases, I think especially for the local press in Madison, it was harder for them than it was for me because they had to be objective and I was a friend.
Interesting stuff. I didn't know that about him.
Well, the interesting thing about him is he's not your typical
True. I do know that about him. Yeah, I do know that about him.
He thinks for himself. He's very independent, although he was elected as a Republican. He had, I think, the second highest independent voting record in the state of Wisconsin. And when he got to Washington, he kind of looked around at some of the things that were going on there. And he describes taking on the establishment. Did anybody ever take you aside and say, let me explain how this works? You're definitely going in the wrong direction, and you need to be one of the good old boys.
Not in so many words. I actually got advice probably more from people back home who said you don't want to ruffle feathers. It's going to cause trouble for you. Now, a lot of my constituents loved it and ate it up. But the worst thing in the world you can do is tell a former journalist, don't go there. If anybody ever points to a locked door, that's exactly the place I want to go. And it's sort of what I've always done through my career is to push through those kind of obstacles. And so rather than being sort of bullied by other members, we became part of the story. And so folks didn't want to put themselves at risk where we can say, that's the guy or that's the woman who's blocking the records we asked for. So it was pretty heady times. I mean, we were on This Week with David Brinkley, on Nightline, on Meet the Press, on just about everything that was going on. It made a reputation for all of us moving forward. And for Boehner, it essentially launched his career to eventually become Speaker of the House.
And he's talking about John Boehner.
Yes.
And he, along with Rick Santorum and 4 other congressmen, they were all part of the Gang of 7. And they were the ones who exposed the banking scandal that was going on in Congress at the time, where they were just writing checks that had no money behind them. And they were cashing them. And then also the post office scandal, where Dan Rostenkowski from Chicago, big-time politician, head of the Ways and Means Committee, he ended up in jail because of the fuss that they caused. So, yeah, Scott has some great stories. But going back to when he was here in the Milwaukee area, he was a student at Marquette University High School. And on his podcast called Lost in the Middle, he tells a story about something that happened while he was a student at Marquette High. I want to go back to when you were at Marquette University High School and a date that you went on and what this kind of says about, from a very young age, what your political stance was.
Yeah, this will tell you why I failed at romance and why a lot of independent candidates for president will fail. Yeah, I dragged my high school girlfriend and said, we've got tickets tonight for the old Milwaukee Arena. And she's thinking it's 1968, Fleetwood Mac. Cream, who's in town, who's touring. It was actually a George Wallace political rally. And I wanted to go to just sit and watch. The George Wallace campaign in 1968, actually Wallace won 5 states and came very close in 3 border states. He never thought he was going to win, but he thought he could deadlock the Electoral College and then have a say in who the next president would be. The U.S. government has strong antitrust policies about U.S. business. There's no antitrust policy when it comes to politics. The Democrats and the Republicans wire the game so independent candidates can't get on.
And he has so many interesting stories.
I would say just in the spectrum of possible date locations, that going to see George Wallace would be way to the right of anything that's reasonable.
Well, and the thing is with Scott, knowing him as I do, he's definitely in the middle. And that's what he really is telling stories about now, because there are far more people, I think, who are not on either extreme that really care about politics.
That group, that number of those people, just what you just said, is growing every day. And if politicians are smart, they'll listen to those folks. You can hear more of Libby's conversation with former Congressman Scott Klug. Find out what he's doing now on WTMJ Conversations this Sunday morning at 11. I will be tuned in. Always great to see you, Libby Collins.
Great to see you, Steve.
All right, after the break, it's been away for a while, but I'm bringing it back today. Steve Ruled the World Leadership 102 Advanced Course. That's next, WTMJ.
It's WTMJ Now. Wisconsin's Morning News.
Things you don't want to hear from your mechanic, your doctor, or the head coach from your football team.
Listen to Vince Vetrano every weekday starting at 6 a.m.
Obviously, searching for a little bit of answers right now. I think.
I want to hear that.
Start the day with what you need to know.
Things like looking for answers, and I thought we did that last week, but I guess we'll try again this week.
I thought we already fixed that in the car.
Only here on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button back in June. Senior loan consultant Brad Kramer issued a credit-verified pre-approval the same day, and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. Well, they made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about our brand new property-specific pre-approval letter, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer at $30,000 over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their updated rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included the phrase that pays in the eyes and ears of the seller, and that translated to donedeal.com. If you think all mortgage companies and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and the know-how to help you win and save you money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited, sidingunlimited.com.
The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you. We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're also growing our team.
So join a team that values your skills and celebrates your success.
Visit us online or in-store today and view our current job listings at bouchercareers.com.
It's Steve Ruled the World.
Welcome back, everybody. Where's Steve Ruled the World been? Leadership 102. So I had a 101. You probably heard it not too long ago. I thought we got to kick it up a notch because I am disgusted, dismayed, disappointed in the actions of our elected officials. Let's get started. I wish we'd all stop treating politics as a life or death issue. Sometimes it is. I got it. Now, I'm not saying that politicians can't impact your life or death for that matter, but we all have a lot more control than we think we do. And for the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Maces, the Donald Trumps of the world,
lighten up, Francis.
That's literally the trifecta of politicians taking themselves way too seriously. How do we get to the point where one's political view is so all-consuming that you literally are willing to embarrass yourself over and over and over again with every outlandish and, dare I say, stupid public comment you make? Here's an idea. Stop all caps, hanging out with people who agree with you, only agree with you. Stop believing every crazy claim that you read on the internet. Stop pretending that you or your party has the answer to everything. Wake up call. They don't. It's getting to the point where I hear any of these knuckleheads open their mouth anymore. You know what's coming. This is what comes to mind. Feed from Deliverance. You know how I know that elected officials in Washington, D.C. and Madison are essentially irrelevant in my day-to-day life? Because during most of the last few years, our state and national politicians didn't do anything beyond campaigning, writing press releases, or doing radio, TV interviews. And despite that fact, most of us are still employed, managed to support our families, celebrated birthdays and graduations, if you actually graduated, instead of just dropping out and demanding that all of us pay for your student loans. And what exactly would be different if they actually pass bills? One word. And it sounds a lot like nothing. Why would you put your faith in people whose sole motivation is re-election? That's like expecting Britney Spears to make good life decisions. That's like pretending people who say defund the police don't actually believe we should defund the police. It's like expecting Andrea Bocelli to sing a song that doesn't sound like every other Andrea Bocelli song.
Oh, say goodbye.
If Steve ruled the world.
Hey, I actually like Andrea Bocelli. Here's a baseline for you. I think baseline's my favorite word. I've had it for a couple of years. You're fine. Your kids will be fine unless you let them live in your basement until they're 30 years old. And for the love of all things holy, charge them rent, for Pete's sakes. The vaccine's not going to hurt you. In fact, it may save your life. You're not required to go to festivals in the summer, sporting events, concerts. Those are fun things you can do on your own. Political parties want one thing and one thing only: money. Here's another one. Since the baseball season, except for virtual baseball, just ended. Extra runners on base, extra innings, still stupid. Why? Here's another one. Giannis is the most sincere, honest professional athlete of this century, and maybe the one before. And finally, I always say leadership is hard, but you know what is even harder, apparently? Acting like a normal person on social media, on the text line, or in public.
You can't handle the truth.
If Steve ruled the world.
All right, there's all kinds of leadership out there. There's the kind that demonstrated with acts of kindness or thinking about the well-being of others. I respect that. We should encourage that and recognize it when it happens. There's also that other side of leadership. Leaders behaving badly. Hello, George Santos.
Will you... I did not have access to my phone. I have no... Will you resign? I have no clue of what you guys are talking about. No, I will not. Excuse me. You will not resign. Why? You stole people's identities. I will... Did you give an identity? Are you still going to vote in the speaker's election?
Hello, Congressman Matt Gaetz.
What is happening is an extortion of me and my family involving a former Department of Justice official. On March 16th, my father got a text message demanding a meeting wherein a person demanded $25 million in exchange for making horrible sex trafficking allegations against me go away.
Are they, though? And, of course, golden oldie, former President Donald Trump.
And you go into the shower, right? You turn on the water, drip, drip, drip. I call the guy, is something wrong with this? No, sir, it's just a restrictor. So you're in there 5 times longer than you're supposed to be. You use probably more water, and it's a very unpleasant experience, right? So we're getting rid of the restrictors. You're going to have full shower flow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the 45th President of the United States.
If Steve ruled the world.
Here's something we can all embrace. Great leadership is defined by one's vision, passion, communication skills, integrity, and discipline. And in Green Bay, that used to be defined by the one and only Vince Lombardi. Now, we all just went through a very emotional and angst-ridden few years where each of us was forced to question our love of the green and gold in ways that felt uncomfortable, even threatening. But at the end of the day, I was able to explain to you that it never was really about anything more than letting true leaders make decisions for the best interest of their organization. For the Green Bay Packers, that's not Mark Murphy or Brian Gutekunst or the 70,000 fans who spend their hard-earned dollars on tickets to watch America's greatest sports franchise. Let's be honest, most fans can't even agree on what beer to buy for the tailgate. Check that. Anybody who doesn't drink Busch Light can't agree on what beer to buy for anything, but the overarching principle of Vince Lombardi's approach to leadership is being committed to being the best. He's the definition of the happy-to-be-here fan. Winning the Super Bowl is the goal, not winning the NFC North. And for all the Jordan Love supporters out there, he started, 6 games in uniform? Let's slow the roll on he's ready to take the mantle and lead this team. I hate to use the Bears example. He might be Jay Cutler, for Pete's sake.
What have I told y'all? Jay Cutler is a disease. This dude, look, y'all. This dude.
Ham is the cure.
Any team, everybody. I mean, Jay Cutler. You can say Jay Cutler's the cure to anybody else's disease. Anytime you go against him, something good is bound to happen. He's horrible.
If Steve ruled
All right, here's a quick one. I love this. A little more Lombardi for you. You know, if I truly rule the world, which I know is a terrifying thought for some of you, I would pass one law immediately when it comes to leadership. Leaders cannot say the words, "I'm looking out for my constituents." On its face, that's a lie. In reality, what they're doing, and they're all guilty of it, they're only representing the people who voted for them. In fact, you can make the argument that the direct actions and votes sometimes work against the very interests of the district they represent. One of the hardest lessons of leadership is when you're faced with telling your constituents they are wrong. And as a former elected official, constituents, dirty little secret, are often wrong, often misinformed, in some rare cases, out of their you-know-what minds. Now, there's a remedy for this. It requires using common sense, logic, communication skills, probably a smattering, a dash of humility. But as we know, most leaders, especially the ones working in politics, don't have most of those things, sometimes none. But you know who did? Vincent Thomas Lombardi.
And after all the cheers have died down, and the stadium is empty, after the headlines have been written, the measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. And I firmly believe in our finest hour, our greatest fulfillment to all we hold dear is that moment when we work our hearts out in good cause and lie exhausted on the field of battle victorious. Because it's not whether we get knocked down, but whether we get back up as one.
If Steve ruled the world.
Goosebumps, I tell you, goosebumps. And finally, I'll wrap it up with this. There's a great saying about leadership. The art of leadership is saying no, not yes. It's very easy to say yes. Here's to saying no a lot more often. I think we need a lot more of that.
Fellas, we're broken. We need to change. And look, I know change can be scary. 1 minute, you're playing freeze tag out there at recess with all your buddies. Next thing you know, you're getting zits, your voice gets low. And every time your art teacher, Miss Scanlon, leans over your desk to check and see how your project's going, you feel all squiggly inside. She was a striking woman. Not classically beautiful, but striking. First time I ever saw tan lines. Most of the time, change is a good thing. I think that's what it's all about. Embracing change. Being brave. Doing whatever you have to so that everyone in your life can move forward theirs. Because maybe it's the only way you can truly help her be happy.
Thank you, Ted Lasso. That is this week's
If Steve ruled the world.
And because I'm a sentimental fool, it's the fall season. Here's some music to get you in the mood. Take it to break, Charlie.
The falling leaves drift by the window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips the summer kisses, the sunburned hand.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
I feel like I'm a smart person most of the time.
See the world from his perspective.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss. And in this case, I don't know if I'd say it was bliss, but I was definitely ignorant.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
I kind of went with the attitude of don't even have your phone with you. They can't call you, and they can't cut you.
Mark Tauscher on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by your Wisconsin Chevy dealers. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
What's the way to build your wealth?
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, what's the way to build your wealth?
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health Medicare Advantage plans start at $0 a month? And you can get the extra benefits you need, like dental, vision, over-the-counter items, and more? I know because I'm a member myself. Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. And by everything, we mean top products by your favorite brands. From Blackstone to Blue Buffalo, Carhartt to Cooper, Milwaukee to Muddy, Scott's to Science Diet, DeWalt, Levi's, Purina, Husqvarna, Goodyear, Rapala, Vortex, whew, and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
WTMJ Now.
Oh, the time I spent with this song in and around high school. Thanks to producer Charlie for doing a bang-up job today, man. He's on it. Right? We sometimes ask a lot of our producers, and he was on top of it today, so nice work, Charlie. And Mitch from Sturgeon Bay says, after 7 years, Steve, you're finally settling into the job nicely. Sometimes it all works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just hitting send on my reply. I'm finally figuring things out. You know who's figured things out? Well, Debbie Lozica. She had a heck of a day today. When I came to work, she was trapped in the glass elevator here at the Avenue. And I'm listening to the morning show with Vince and Eric, Wisconsin Morning News, and she's like, not panicked, but she's been in there a while. And if I was in an elevator for a while, I'd be a little panicked, to be honest. So long story short, we had to get the fire department. I let them in the front door at the Avenue because there was no one else around. And they got her out with a ladder, and everything is back to normal. But because she's Debbie, she's still producing work. And I didn't even know this until I saw the feature. There's an eclipse this weekend. Now, I'm looking at our radar. It's like all green. So I'm guessing we may or may not have a good look at it. I'm guessing more of the may nots. But somewhere they're going to be able to see this. And Debbie put a nice little feature together. Let's listen to it here.
It's a solar eclipse, and the viewing area is supposed to be one of the closest for our area. Even if Mother Nature isn't going to cooperate for a live viewing here, the UWM Manfred Olson Planetarium is holding an event this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You see, back in the olden days, events like what's going to happen would send people into a frenzy. In Nordic cultures, people blamed sky wolves for eating the sun. And in Vietnam, it was a frog. Obviously, that's not what's going on here, but it is a rare occurrence to the tune of once every 300 or so years for any given spot on the planet.
That's rare. And the fact that we get two of any kind of a solar eclipse is awesome in the same year.
The second happening in April. Director of the UWM Planetarium, Gene Creighton, says even if we were in the best viewing location in the U.S., it still isn't a total eclipse. It's an annular eclipse.
So annular means that the moon sometimes changes its distance from us, but there are times in the orbit of the moon where the moon is farther than average. And when that's the case, it doesn't quite completely cover the sun, so there'll be a portion of the sun that is still visible.
Oh, and do yourself a favor, do not, I repeat, do not try and just look up at an eclipse. I know it'll probably be cloudy this time around, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. It could truly blind you.
Eye doctors say they can tell by looking at your eye how damaged it is, whether you've been looking at the sun. It really does hurt your eyes. Don't do it.
That's okay, though. The UWM Planetarium is having a big shindig to learn more about eclipses.
This is open to everybody in the community. It is free. We wanted to give people an opportunity to do this safely. We will provide free solar eclipse glasses so that people can look up. We also have telescopes that are equipped with a professional solar filter, so it's safe to see, so people can see a more detailed view, again, safely. We are going to have the indoor planetarium programs in any case, just to console ourselves, because we've been planning this for 2 years. And also, we hope to have a live feed in any case.
It's cool to see with a party and educators there to teach you more, but it's not just people clamoring to see the moon take a bite out of the sun. There's actually research being done at that moment that can only be done during an eclipse, too.
When we can block the sun, then we see aspects of it that you can't see otherwise, what we call the corona. And that's a very active area of research right now.
We've still got tons to learn about our closest star, and every once in a while, the heavens throw us a little bone and lines everything up so we can do just that. Debbie Loziga, WTMJ News.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Your first night camping alone. The new tent, fully set up. Your bug spray, barely keeping up. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free overdraft protection transfers. So when you bought all those supplies and lost track of your spending, we had you covered. You got this with free overdraft protection transfers from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner for Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses, here to tell you about Built Right's 95th anniversary sale that's on right now. It's all about your comfort, your style, and your home at Built Right. 4 generations, 95 years strong, and they are celebrating 17 years in their Greenfield location. Look, Built Right always saves you money. The 3rd and 4th generation family members are on hand working in the store, along with their amazing team with over 400 years of experience. Be ready for your holiday guests with thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. Also, special orders are faster in 2023. Built Right has affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses for everyone from petite to plus size. USA made, small scale, Amish made, real solid wood furniture. Over 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. Free in-store design services too. Built Right voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 National Retailer of the Year Award. They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
WTMJ Now.
Oh, thank you, Bob Seger. Saw him many times, many years ago. He was a great artist. He's still a great artist. And he doesn't put out much music, but I think he still tours occasionally. I just wanted to point out 2 texts. People ask me about the text line all the time, like what's coming across and why do they text and what do they say? And there's a lot of ways I can answer that question. I will tell you this, it's often a hurriedly composed, rapid response to what me, Jeff Wagner, John McCure, Vincent Eric, all the shows on this station, WTMJ, talk about. All the things we talk about. So this is 2 snapshots of an earlier conversation about world peace, and somehow we got down the Donald Trump train, and I'm going to read you these 2, and this is a good example of what I'm talking about. So 2 different texts. Diane, first one, world leaders don't fear Trump. They mock and laugh at him. Why do people think foreign enemies fear him? 262. Trump pulled us out of the Iran deal. Trump put North Korea in its place. He did what a big guy does. He put Kim Jong-un in his place. 2 radically, drastically different ideas about the same person and his role in international relations. Here's the thing. Whatever I say about it, whatever somebody else who is a Trump supporter, a Trump voter says, ultimately, you will decide what happens to Donald Trump, what happens to his candidacy, whether he wins the nomination, whether he wins the presidency, becomes president 47, after being president 45, after Joe Biden, number 46. All of that will be determined by you. I'm just trying to tell you what I think. That's the fun of having a radio talk show. Opinions matter. That's why it's called WTMJ Now. News, opinion, Wisconsin, and why it matters. That's the big deal in the now. That's why I love the name of the show. Works. Opinion, that big O. Not Oscar Robertson, but opinion. You have to be older to remember Oscar Robertson. Like producer Sam's going, who is Oscar Robertson? He won an NBA championship with the Milwaukee Bucks alongside then Lou Alcindor, eventually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Little history for all of the producers today on the show. All right, a quick break. After the break, the Week in Review, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. That's next.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
According to the U.S. debt clock, our debt is over $32 trillion and climbing. The question is, how do we pay it off? One of the most likely answers is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? At Drake & Associates, we can help you create a plan so your retirement is tax efficient as possible. If you'd like to continue your education, we have our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides on retirement tax savings. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call or text now.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra is pleased to welcome conductor and composer Matthias Pincher to the Bradley Symphony Center October 20th through the 22nd. He'll lead the MSO in a luxuriously rich program of music, including his own third violin concerto, Assonanza, written in partnership with Lila Josefowicz, who will bring the work alive during these concerts. In addition to the violin concerto, you'll also be treated to a trio of audience favorites, Debussy's evocative prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun and Iberia, plus Ravel's Bolero. The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Josefowicz and Bolero October 20th through the 22nd. Don't miss this opportunity to hear two of classical music's most engaging artists. Call the box office now for tickets at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org.
The famous Fox and Hounds and Mineshaft restaurants are hiring servers, bartenders, bussers, food runners, and barbacks. It's a great part-time job for high school and college students and retirees. Make real money. Parents and grandparents, tell your kids. Inquire today. Start next week.
Hey, the future of joint pain relief is right here in Milwaukee. It's QC Kinetics, Advanced Regenerative Medicine, and it's amazing. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, don't be so fast. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your own body's healing agents to attack that joint pain. I'm talking lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, or your back, with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Hey, life is all about motion, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back with these all-natural treatments. Call the local medical professionals and get a free consultation today. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Again, 414-285-3474.
WTMJ Now.
I don't know about spending a life together, but thanks for hanging out together on this Friday morning in this rainy, rain-filled state of Wisconsin. Hopefully it's nice where you are. If you're in Florida, congratulations, or Texas, or California, or England, or wherever. Hopefully you're getting some decent weather today. So thanks to tuning in for the full 3 hours. And we'll hear from Jeff in a little bit and see what he's going to talk about on his show today. You can find us, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. WTMJ.com has all the shows, all the podcasts, all the great content. And always, always, always appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. All right. Something we do every Friday as well, the Week in Review. A brazen attack against Israel heard round the world, flushing the pipes in Waukesha, a quandary for the morning show, and more. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
Fighting raging on this morning in Gaza after a surprise attack orchestrated by Hamas against Israel over the weekend.
Israel's prime minister says his country is at war and will win. That after Hamas launched a massive surprise attack with thousands of rockets and a ground assault.
Let there be no doubt, the United States has Israel's back.
The deadliest Hamas massacre, the music festival where over 260 people were killed.
Videos emerge and they're absolutely stunning, and
they're horrifying.
Brutality. I mean, it's just mind-blowing.
As the bombing of Gaza continues, Israel calling on hundreds of thousands of people to leave their homes amid fears of an imminent land operation.
Please go south. We are going to destroy Hamas infrastructures.
Here at home, around 1,000 people gathering at the Congregation Shalom in Fox Point for a community solidarity gathering.
I'm sorry if my voice is a bit shaky. It's very hard to digest it.
This one is a complete and total terrorist attack. We have to call it what it is.
Back here in Milwaukee, a group of pro-Palestinian demonstrators held a downtown rally in March tonight.
What we want is freedom for all.
Cries of support for innocent citizens in the Gaza Strip caught in the crossfire.
And now for something completely different.
The Waukesha water utility is quite literally flushing out the old and pumping in the new as the city switches to Lake Michigan as its primary source of drinking water.
We're moving 50 million gallons through our system within 5 days. It'll happen over a 5-day period, and it'll basically go from east to west.
Following up last year's double-digit increase for residential customers, We Energy is this year asking for a 3.1% increase.
Love hurts. Love. End zone.
Yeah, that play, once I kind of stepped up in the pocket, I just kind of saw Christian. I felt like he had the DB beat by a little bit, kind of just underthrew it, didn't get enough on it, didn't get it out there enough, and the DB made a good play.
Nobody's feeling sorry for us, and if we feel sorry for ourselves, we will regress.
How you feeling today?
Better.
Than you were last night?
Yes, I have to go get a new phone screen, but I am doing better.
After opening with a nod to former NFL running back Marshawn Lynch,
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Brewers general manager Matt Arnold addressing the rumors swirling around manager Craig Counsell's future with the team.
Either way, we're going to be prepared to have a manager next year if it's not Craig. I want to keep every line open for communication here because he's our top choice here for sure.
As a longtime member of the House GOP leadership, Steve Scalise spent years whipping votes for his party. And now he's engaged in the whip count of his career.
I think it's important we come together, and I've offered to nominate Steve on the House floor.
Not so fast.
I just shared with my colleagues that I'm withdrawing my name as a candidate for
the speaker designee.
Oh, what are we doing? Somebody in California is $1.7 billion richer, before taxes, that is.
It is the second highest Powerball win in history and the second billion-dollar jackpot in California this year.
There are 63 ayes and 35 noes.
Assembly Bills 377 and 378 approved Thursday, restricting college and high school women's sports to people assigned female at birth. Assembly Bill 465 would ban health care for trans people under 18.
We're going to veto every single one of them.
So we've received a text from our own Debbie Lazaga, who has just sounded the alarm. I see her. She is stuck inside of an elevator.
I've been ringing the bell. I've been trying to use the little phone thingy. Nothing.
There's no way, even if we could get to the door, we'd have any opportunity to get
I heard you
out.
knocking when you two were just like, ding, ding, ding. I'm like, I hear you guys. Like, it's like I saw you walk up. I had to like literally shimmy out. And I was saying, please do not start. Please do not start this thing. And then the guys grabbed me and I'm like, can somebody pull me? And they're like, whoosh. And scoop. Thanks to the Milwaukee Fire Department. Thank you guys so much.
What a week.
We have to establish a P corner.
Okay, guys, take care. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
You can have the power of Jeff Wagner. Don't California my Wisconsin. In the palm of your hands, whenever and wherever you want. Maybe we need more than political theater when we're trying to deal with some of the issues that we face today. Just look up The Jeff Wagner Show on Apple, Spotify, the WTMJ app, or wherever you get your podcasts. But at the end of the day, you know, the sun came up this morning, and like I say, your dog still loves you. And don't forget, you can still listen to me live from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
What's the way to build your wealth?
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are two sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision.